Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 6, 2026 Granville County Board of Commissioners meeting. We have a full house tonight. We're glad to see the public out here. At this time, I'm going to ask Commissioner Tim Karen if he would give invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Acting Chairman. If you're able to and would be so kind to pray with me this evening. Heavenly Father, I come before you tonight as the Granville County Board of Commissioners. We ask that our ears be open and our hearts receive and our actions are pleasing in your sight. Father, this is an amazing time we live in. We're coming off the precipice of an amazing weekend celebrating 250 years of our nation, the 4th of July celebration and Independence Day, and how incredible and fortunate we are to live in this nation under you, Father, founded on the principles under God. Father, we come before you tonight thanking you for the history, for the shoulders that we stand on, Father. Father, you iron sharpened this nation, and we had our curves and our bumps, Father, but you led us through, and the plan is yours, Father, and we are following it. Father, I ask that you be with Commissioner Jay in this time. Father, you know what he needs, Father. Be with him. Father, thank you for the rain. The grass is greener. The crops are growing, Father. Storms, we'll take them. They bring the community together. Father, thank you for all you do. Thank you for the people who serve. So thank you, Father, for all you do. In the Lord's name I pray. Now if you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Karen. For those that are not aware, I am Rob Williford. I am Vice Chair. Commissioner Zelodius J. is Chairman. He is presently unable to attend with some health issues. We ask that everyone keep Chairman J in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Do we have any items that anyone would like to add to or delete to pull from the agenda tonight?
County Manager, item 13.
Yes, I think that the county attorney was going to speak to this item, but due to some legislative activity pertaining to the flock and automatic license plate reader systems, we're delaying that item, and the county attorney's recommendation was that we remove that from this evening's agenda.
Do we need a second? Can we have a second for that?
Or a motion.
First and a second. Okay.
Make a motion that we make that adjustment to the agenda.
I say.
We have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Griffin. All those in favor, vote by the saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add one item to the agenda,
Okay.
and that would be under recognitions, and that would be special recognition for Dr. Omokunde, and his receipt of the Order of the Long Leaf Pine.
Okay. Thank you. Board, we good? Okay. All right. Okay. All right, we have one removal and one addition. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Okay.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gooch and a second by Commissioner Cozart. All those in favor, vote by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, if it's appropriate at this time, I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you for that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Karen to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Commissioner May. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carried. All right, at this point, we have introductions, recognitions, and presentations. Oh. At this time, I'd like to ask Jessica Todd, our interim clerk, and Michelle Parker Evans to come forward, please. North Carolina's General Statute 153A-111 states that the Board of Commissioners shall appoint or designate a clerk to the board. The clerk shall perform any duties that may be required by law for the Board of Commissioners and shall serve as such at the pleasure of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to add a few comments too before we get down to business. I can't say how much pleasure it gives me to see Jessica Todd being promoted to the role of clerk to the board. Obviously, nobody has ever owed a position like this, but it is possible to earn it, and Jessica has earned it. There are not very many jobs in local government that pair the intensity of a clerk's life with the breadth of issues they have to work on and master on behalf of the board and on behalf of the community. Jessica has been with us for not quite 2 years and has proven to be an unbelievably quick study, figuring out the basics very quickly and then starting in on the project of making our work even more effective and efficient. She has also proven herself from the very first days to be a great addition to our office. With her broad competence, humor, and humanity, commissioners and staff alike have learned to trust her communications and the quality of her work. Jessica is especially honored tonight to be sworn in by her mentor, Michelle Parker Evans, former clerk to the board in Durham County, and I might say one of the first and best clerks that I ever worked for or with. And Jessica's daughter, Harper, will hold the family Bible during the swearing-in.
Good evening. Repeat after me, please. I, Jessica Todd,
I, Jessica Todd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as Granville County Clerk to the Board of Commissioners
as Granville County Clerk to the Board of Commissioners,
according to the best of my knowledge and ability.
according to the best of my knowledge and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Jessica Todd,
I, Jessica Todd,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be
be
established for the government thereof,
established for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend
and that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would like to put forward a motion to officially appoint Jessica Todd as clerk to the Board of Commissioners for Granville County.
Second.
Okay, at this point, we have a motion by Commissioner Gooch and a second by Commissioner Karen to appoint Jessica Todd as full clerk to the court, not interim. To the board. All those in favor, vote by the usual voting sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Motion carried. At this time, before we, Jessica, come back. We hadn't finished yet. At this time, I would like to ask Jessica's partner, Craig Stansel, her parents, William and Phyllis Burnett, to step up. Just for a quick picture, please. And Harper. I'm sorry, Harper. We know that Jessica couldn't do everything she does without the support of her parents and her longtime partner and her daughter. So we want to be sure that we recognize them as well. Terry, get several pictures. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we would like the recognition of Granville County Sheriff's Deputy Ralph Winesett Jr. Ralph, if you'll come down, and Sheriff, we'll turn it over to you.
No, go on up there. Don't get down. Ma'am. Oh, I'm just doing it from here because he needs a spotlight. He needs a spotlight. Oh, go on up there. You want, that's right. So good evening.
Good evening.
First, giving honor to God, to his grace, his mercy, and what he gives and does for us. I was going to read a whole lot of this stuff, but most of the time when you care about somebody and they care about this community, you don't need to read anything. You need to know who they are and what they brought to the table. Sergeant Winesett is a veteran of the Granville County Sheriff's Office who has committed almost a lifetime of service to the Granville County Sheriff's Office. Over several administrations, he's kept his head up high, doing the work of a professional. And his display and courage that he presents to the kids every day as an SRO will be unforgettable. And he has put a lasting impression on the children of our community for years. And what we want to do is give him a small token of his appreciation. And actually, he had one ceremony. How many of you had so far? 2. He had asked us, and we didn't take it back from him. He wanted his badge retired with him and his grandfather's, right, badges. So we gave him a shadow box with all the badges that he ever had, his family had, and we presented that to him already. So in saying that, I kept telling Eddie, I said, you lost some weight and you read it and the kids love you, so why don't you stick around? And with the governor signing the Bill 43 or 41 the other day, the first thing I did when I saw him going to the governor's office was saying, stick around. Stick around. It won't mess with his retirement, but he has a dream to move around the country and spend some time with a young lady that he loves so much that means more to him than anybody. And I always appreciate it when we say family first. If people don't know the motto of Granville County Sheriff's Office, it's family first. And that's what he wants to do. And we're still going to ask him to come back and share with us. We're still going to ask him to come to visit the schools with us. And when he's ready to come back and work with us, he ain't been gone about a month. But we want to give him his flowers today. So today, from the Granville County Sheriff's Office, this is your 3rd
presentation of things and accolades that we have done to Sheriff Deputy Ralph Eddie Winesett, and we just call him Hey Sarge, Deputy Sheriff, Granville County Sheriff's Office from January 2nd, 1997 to June the 1st of 2026. In recognition for your outstanding service to the citizens of Granville County, presented to you by the Board of Commissioners, at this time, we say thank you. So Commissioners, if you please. So this is from the commissioners. If y'all could take a picture with Eddie, because without what you guys do for us, there would be no him. And for what he's done for the community, we would like to make sure that we share that with the community. You want to get up there and I take pictures? All right. Go on up there. You know how he, what you want to All right, everybody in? Can I get one just you two? Thank you, I got y'all. Just them two. Yes, sir. Yeah, no. So you got about 50. Thank you so much. Rob, Mr. Williford, we do have number 14. You may go ahead and take care of that now, or you want me to come back? That's to transfer his service weapon to him.
Let's go ahead and do that now, Sheriff.
Okay, I appreciate it. So with the general statute, where am I at? North Carolina General Statute 20-187.2, Mr. Winesett, Sergeant Winesett is authorized to, by statute, purchase his firearm from him upon his retirement. And we're asking the board at this time to approve that he be transferred his firearm. I think it was purchased out of asset forfeiture money. We have to repatriate that money. The county is so graciously, if you would, the money that you would donate to him to purchase his firearm from a federal licensed firearm agency, we're asking that request.
At this time, do I have a motion to approve the transfer and sale of Sergeant Winesett's service weapon?
I'll make that
motion. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin and a second by Commissioner May. All those in favor, vote by the usual voting sign. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Motion carried.
Thank you. And to speak to one other thing, lastly, Commissioner May, and I appreciate it, and Drew, and with the county attorney, we've been in conversations with the changing legislation about flock cameras, and my wife will tell you, and my pastor will tell you, I've been wrestling with this decision to either have flock cameras or not. And I think a lot of times as leaders, sometimes we make decisions without listening to the voices of our people. So in that vein, and with what God we prayed on, and then this morning at 7:05, Jim gave me the message that I needed to hear was don't do it now. And we pulled it. Because of the fact on the 20th, I want to have an open discussion with the community here to hear their concerns before we do anything moving forward with the flock camera system because of the Fourth Amendment rights violations that are out there in current litigation. And I appreciate you all for what you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. And again, Sergeant, thank you for your years of service to Granville County. Eddie, thank you for your years of service. We appreciate it. All right, at this time, we have presentation by Granville County 4-H Leadership Council. Lina, thank you. Come forward. Where we go?
All right, good evening. In the interest of time, I'm going to let my teens do all the speaking, but all I would like to say is thank you for y'all's continued support and the support the whole county shows 4-H and especially this program. We've got some wonderful teens and they've got a good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lina.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Overby. I'm the president of the Granville County 4-H Youth Leadership Council. The purpose of the Granville County 4-H Youth Leadership Council provides local teens with opportunities to develop leadership skills, engage in community service, and become informed active citizens. Through hands-on projects, civic engagement, and collaboration with community leaders, members gain the knowledge and experience needed to make a positive impact in Granville County. The Granville County 4-H Leadership Council members serve on several boards throughout Granville County. In doing so, they get to learn not only about how our community functions, but also how to help the community. After all, it is our county too. The first board is Animal Control Advisory.
Hello, my name is Atlas Travis. I served on the Animal Control Advisory Committee this year, and I had a really good time learning a lot at the meetings. I listened to presentations about organizations that wanted to work with the county, what donations we needed, what we're actively doing. I learned about the statistics of what animals, how we're able to rehome them, or certain animals were able to find their home that they escaped from or went missing. And I am a really big animal lover. I have 4 cats, 2 dogs, and a fish myself. I have always been around animals. They have always been a big thing for me. So seeing how our county really does care about animals and wants to make sure they're in good homes, made me really happy.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Claire Glavin, and I'm a proud youth member of the Granville County Youth Leadership Council. And I was able to serve on the Environmental Affairs Board. On this board, we were exposed to an array of environmental-related challenges that our county faces, especially the environmental cons of building a data center. I loved hearing about all the local solar farm, and it was really meaningful to be a part of the discussion when we tackled that. And this board gave citizens and youth like us a chance to voice our opinions and concerns, and we were very proud to be members. Also, I served on the Human Relations Board, and I was always very excited to go to the meetings. And we got to see how our county interacts and be involved in public events and how we can pitch in on certain events in the county. And we loved helping with the Martin Luther King Jr. essay contest. And it was really meaningful to be a part of the conversation when we were deciding how we were gonna have them recognized because we could not do the MLK breakfast. And the Butner Summer Festival and this board gave us perspective on what it takes to connect to the community in Granville County. And I also liked meeting some of the commissioners on the team and Miss Jessica and Audrey and Reverend Gooch, and I really appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joel Jost, and I got to serve on the Library Board of Trustees. Here, the youth on the library board not only got to learn about the budget and library functions, but got to help set up a video call with the famous author, Temple Grandin. Our members loved setting up this meeting and getting to see how big-time authors can interact in our local libraries. We also loved hearing about county enrichment programming the library puts on. Mainly in this board, I was very happy to talk with the members around us and think about how the budget works and make the right payments along with that.
Hello, my name is Grace Allred, and I'm the Secretary of the Granville County 4-H Youth Leadership Council. I would like to preface this by saying my pawpaw is a veteran, specifically from Vietnam, and I served on the Veterans Affairs Board. It was very near and dear to my heart. I loved hearing about how Granville County can serve our veterans back, especially Ace Hardware, very popular local store. They do a discount for veterans. I know there are several other places that try to honor them in different ways. Like we have our annual Veterans Parade, and we also do a lot with our flags. One of my favorite things was learning about how they purchase those flags and how they dispose of them. I did not know that going into it. And I just thought it was so interesting, and I was so grateful to be a member. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Ely, and I'm the Vice President of our Granville County Youth Leadership Council. Our Granville County 4-H Youth Leadership Council members were able to learn about how programs that support youth like us work. These include outlets for youth like Parks and Recreation and Teen Court, as well as the reason necessary suspension and expulsion related measures are taken. We also learned about youth drug abuse prevention programs, which are extremely prevalent and for good reason. I was able to serve alongside this great man right here, sitting in the audience, and it was really valuable to see how everyday decisions that we make in our boards and our councils actually affect the youth of our community. Hearing from youth in my own schools and my own experience being a youth leader, it was very valuable, and I appreciate all the board members that were there and all the commissioners that put it on and made it happen. So thank you.
I'm back. I served on the Granville County Advisory Leadership Council. They abbreviated it to ALC. While I served on this committee, I learned a lot about the NC Cooperative Extension and how it serves as like a major part of Granville County in the agriculture and leadership programs. I learned about partnerships and the necessity of all the collaboration to strengthen our community. They do so much in Granville County. There's agriculture and leadership that goes hand in hand, especially in the ALC programs.
Good evening. My name is Olivia Smith, and because of this youth council that we have served on all year, we have been able to become better citizens, become better leaders, better helpers, better educated people, and just better people overall. So it was really an honor to serve on this youth council. Thank you.
We did a service project this year where we donated food to the farm to fridge programs that we have in the county. We have the fridges where people can go and get free food and such throughout with the local libraries and such. We have tons of local businesses and such that donate, but also as a youth council, we want to contribute to that because one of the biggest issues we have is food insecurity. A lot of families struggle with that. So we donated 40 pounds of food from our local Oxford Farmers Market this year to the Farm to Fridge program at Thornton Library.
So y'all know, this council is sponsored also through 4-H, which gives a lot of opportunities for youth. And part of the reason it's so important, Granville County Council as a whole, is that we can get out throughout the entire state. So we are part of the North Central District in terms of 4-H, and I would like to proudly say some of our teens here went to Teen Retreat, which is for counties across the whole district to represent, and we did bring home most spirited county out of all 39 in it, so woo, go Granville. We also have 2 people from Granville County that won district officer positions, notably Logan Quintus, who is the new North Central District president, and Atlas Travis, who is our new reporter. So I would like to. We also very recently, went to district presentation day, and we did have 2 youth that are moving on to state presentations at statewide 4-H Congress. And so I would like to say that this council is not only about how we can serve in Granville County, but how we can bring what Granville County does to the rest of our state. And it builds us as leaders, it builds us as educated people who can serve this county back, because we're going to end up being the future of this county. I might stay here, I might not, I hopefully will, but if I do, I would love to be able to serve in positions like y'all have today. Because it's important to me, it's important to my family, and it's important to everybody I know around me. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good evening again. Earlier this year, our youth council had the pleasure of setting up a booth at the Culture Fest, and we were able to promote the various 4-H programs like the farmers market, and it was just a really amazing opportunity for us to volunteer and just get to see the amazing cultures and just the various cultures that were presented, and just to see all the members of the community coming out and helping to participate and just showing love for the county. And it was really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hezekiah Harlan. So, from teenagers to citizens, the Granville 4-H Youth Leadership Council turns teenagers like us into educated citizens. One of the best examples of that is in the future, we will all be voting citizens, turning 18. It prepares us for understanding and supporting Granville County as we grow up so that we can be the next generation to keep our county and our country great. Undeniably, we will be the future of our county, but we need to be educated first in this affairs.
And finally, the Granville County 4-H Youth Leadership Council is able to be so crucial and helpful to the development of youth because it's backed by the commissioners. Without the support from Granville County and its commissioners, we will not be able to grow into individuals that are educated enough in county affairs to care about them. So we thank you for your support. And we have future doctors, lawyers, politicians, leaders right here in our own county. So we thank you for nurturing us, for providing us with both monetary and intellectual support. So we thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
As my council members mentioned, this council has been very meaningful to the county and us personally. I just wanted to say a few words as a senior member who will not be serving on this board anymore. I have reached my limit, actually. But not, I wish I could though. Okay. So, being a part of this council has given me a space where I was able to voice concerns I had in my community and connect with students from different schools and districts who share the same ambition to learn more about leadership, improve our county, and voice our perspectives in board meetings, as you know. And throughout the 2 years I've been a member of this council, I've been able to collaborate with my fellow members as we implemented service projects intended to benefit the community and had the opportunity to feel heard by board members as we attended different board meetings. Personally, I have always loved going to human relations board meetings because of the abundance of perspectives and personalities and the involvement my fellow members and I have been able to have as we help plan county events or pitch in an idea to improve the outreach programs. I've also been honored to be able to participate in the Environmental Affairs Board as a youth member, where I became more aware of local environmental disputes and was able to represent youth in my community by being a part of the conversation that dictates the agricultural and social environment and well-being of our county. Over these past 2 years, participating in 4-H has been truly meaningful to me, as I've had the honor of a leadership role that has taught me about policies, working with people to create innovative solutions to benefit this community, and the power of brainstorming and connecting with people. I have learned of the true impact policies can make in a community, which has helped guide my personal trajectory towards a future in politics and social justice. And of course, I'm so grateful to have met and had the privilege of knowing my fellow youth council members whose intelligence, ambition, and kindness inspires me to keep striving for change in every corner of the world that I can impact, and to continue to seek out people like you. Thank you to my fellow youth members, now friends, and thank you Granville County Commissioners and all the boards for welcoming us to the table. We all thank you.
Thank you. What a great group of young people. And yes, we need these people to come back to Granville County. We would love that. The youth is our future. So we thank you, Lina. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you guys again.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Karen.
before Lina, are we, Lina, Ms. Howell, are we going to be sponsoring anyone for the NCACC conference this summer? No, it didn't come up, and I was just curious.
So, the North Carolina 4-H staff has not sent us the registration yet, but I have picked out 2 candidates, and we're working through how to choose between them. But yes, we will be sending someone from Granville. So we'll be seeing you soon in a couple of weeks for their presentation. So.
And before you go, I think Atlas and Logan of former civic youth leaderships in 2025, I believe is correct.
Yes.
And Jonathan. I'm
Yep.
sorry if I missed anybody, Jonathan.
And we also have additional members who are not here tonight. Victoria Monroe is also a former summer civic youth leadership intern. So this is a great way for them to continue their partnership with Granville.
It's a great program, and we look forward to those in the future and those that we've had. And hopefully these young folks will decide to come back and reside in Granville County one day.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we have another presentation, and I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Cozart.
Thank you, Acting Chair Williford, and I greet each of you tonight. I'm very happy to take a minute to make a very special recognition. This presentation is important to me, not only because of what the individual has done, but because of what he's meant to me personally. I've been able to observe Dr. Omokunde for a number of years, and one of the things that excites me about presenting to him this Order of the Longleaf Pine Award is because everything has always been about others on JCPC, all about trying to provide services for our kids and support for them. Past that at his church, it's just been amazing. And before I present this to you, I want to share just a couple of comments about what you have meant to me personally. I think he knows my grandkids' names just as well as I do. He's always asking me about them and calling them by their first name. But what I really appreciate is a few years ago, I lost my oldest brother. And when I looked out in the congregation out there at Belton Creek, I saw you there getting everything in order. And I'll never forget it. So today, I want to present to you, and I come down where you are. You have come down to people on many occasions when you probably, you want to stay? Okay. 1, 3. 1, 2. I can think of many occasions where I've seen this great servant, this servant leader. I've seen him at places where he probably for his own good should have been at home, resting and taking care of himself. But for the cause of justice, for the cause of freedom, for the cause of community, he found reason to get up and go places where he probably wasn't strong enough to go at that time. As I look out over this group at Barandal, I see fraternity people, I see church people, I see a lot of different people he's touched. I'm just honored to be able to present this from Governor Josh Stein, this Order of the Longleaf Pine Award to you. And I present it to you with a lot of gratitude, a lot of appreciation. As I was looking at the young people over there, what an inspiration for them to see you, because I think there could be one being groomed right in that group. I listened to the young men and the young ladies over there. So I'm very happy to be here tonight to present this to you with all our congratulations on behalf of our board. Thank you.
Giving honor to God, who is the author and finisher of our faith, to the progenitor of the Stiff clan, Will Stiff from Edgecombe County, who produced my grandfather, Thomas Stiff Sr. Come on, country cousins, stand up for a minute, please. All right. City cousins, stand up for a minute. Thomas Stiff Sr., my grandfather, said to me, "You are your brother's keeper, and your sister's keeper too, and your cousin's keeper." And to Attorney Ben Rollins, who we grew up on the same street for 156 years. I want to thank Liz Purvis, chair of the Democratic Party, Liz. Thank you so much. Sitting next to her is John Fitz, who taught me how to turn a computer on without killing it. He's a genius, and he's been teaching me. And I don't necessarily like AI, but because it makes you think I'm good. Some organizations, Sheriff Fountain, and Granville County Sheriff's Office, the women and men let me help them. They taught me how to help them as a chaplain. To Bishop, as I try to give a title over as president of Granville County Interdenominational Ministerial Council to him, and he's going to pass it to somebody else. To my home away from home. Now, when you can go into the refrigerator at somebody else's house, you're at home. Chief Kevin Moat, thank you. Stovall Nines, please stand. These are my 5 family. This is my 5 family. And of course, we have to thank Governor Jim Stein. And House of Representative Brian Kahn could not be here tonight. And to former State Senator Terrence Everett, they work along with John. I'm now finding out behind many scenes. And so, and I want to thank another group that has planted in my brain that I cannot have removed. I've had 2 surgeries that planted the words, friendship is essential to the soul. With members of Zeta Alpha Chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, please stand. They continuously teach you how to be a man, even though you're 70-something years old. I want to say thank you to everyone in this room, because you know very well when you start calling people's names, you forget somebody. You have to do some apologies. Thirdly, my grandfather taught me, if you're planted in Granville County, you work for Granville County. If you live in North Carolina, you work for the betterment of North Carolina. His words to me were, do not fatten frogs for snakes. You work where you live, you buy where you live, you worship where you live, you make friends where you live, you make enemies where you live, you turn the enemies into friends where you live, and the friends into enemies where you live. I just want to say thank you so much for these organizations. They have been my strength. There's another person, my supervisor is here tonight, Don Marie Omokunde. And I want to thank the commissioners, of course. Commissioner Williford and I work together with Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. By the way, that young man over there, Neely Jonathan, stand up, please. I love that boy. Jonathan needs an internship, y'all. He needs one quick. Very good, sir. And thank you. And we must continue to work on behalf of the betterment of Granville County. Granville County. That's where we live. That's where our neighbors live. And so once Granville County, it probably take Granville County to get the rest of the state together. That's what I firmly believe. So I appreciate you. I see Ant over there, who's another fraternity brother, who when the keys were taken away from me, he drives me around these days. And so thank you so very much. I see the Barkers. Have the watermelons come up yet? Oh, man, okay. So there's a wide variety of people that have helped me over the years. Lastly, my granddaddy said, if you see a turtle on top of a fence post, you can be assured that he did not get up there by himself. Thank you, sir.
Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun doth shine, where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. Here to down home, the Old North State. Congratulations, my brother.
Sir.
Sorry, Mr. Songbird. I hope he told me to be 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Cozart, and Reverend O, congratulations from the Granville County Board of Commissioners. Yes, sir. While they're taking these pictures, before we begin our next item of business, I want to remind everyone about the public comments guidelines. This board is committed to allowing members of the public an opportunity to offer comments and suggestions for the efficient and effective administration of government. I'm going to read some bullet points. The Granville County Commissioners offer a public comment period near the beginning of each regular board meeting. The comment period will be limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. Persons who wish to address the board during the public comment period are asked to register or on a sign-up sheet located on the podium at the front of the County Commissioners meeting room. Each person signed up to speak will have 2 minutes tonight. Because of the number of people speaking, we have 15 people signed. Each person will be asked to hold their comments to 2 minutes. Each person signed up to speak will only be entitled to the time allotted to them, though one additional time period may be yielded to him, her by another individual who has also signed up to speak on the same particular topic. Speakers will be acknowledged by the board chairperson in the order in which their names appear on the sign-up sheet. Speakers will address the board from the podium at the front of the room and begin their remarks by stating their name and address. Speakers who have prepared written remarks or supporting documents are encouraged to leave a copy of such comments and remarks with the clerk to the board. The public comment period is intended solely for the board to receive comment, but not for further discussion or question answering on topics raised by the speakers. Okay? We ask that all speakers be respectful and courteous in their remarks and that they refrain from personal attacks and the use of profanity. That will not be tolerated. We also ask that the audience refrain from applause or other disruptive reactions to public comments. Speakers shall not discuss any of the following matters, which concern the candidacy of any person seeking public office, including the candidacy of the person addressing the board, matters which are closed session matters, including but not limited to matters within the attorney-client privilege, anticipated or pending litigation, personal property acquisition, matters which are made confidential by law, matters which are the subject of public hearing. Information sheets outlining the process for the public's participation in board meetings will also be available in the rear of the commissioners' meeting room. Action on the items brought up during the public comment period will be at the discretion of the board. Madam Clerk, is anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes, sir. We'll begin tonight with Sonia Glavin. Please begin by saying your name and address for the record.
Madam, if you'll wait, the sheriff's going to close the door. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sonia Glavin, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Granville County, and I'm also a Granville County resident. My address is in Muirfield Drive in Creedmoor, North Carolina. Granville County has a strong record of civic participation. In the 2024 general election, our voter turnout was 76%. and nearly 80% of those voters used one-stop early voting. Even in 2022, a non-presidential election, Granville County exceeded statewide turnout by more than 10%, with more than 62% casting early votes. Those numbers matter because they show that accessible, predictable, and trusted early voting locations work. They also raise an important question. If our current system is producing strong participation, what problem are we trying to fix by moving or closing established sites? We, the League of Women Voters, and I, urge the board to fully fund a fourth early voting site to better serve rural residents, but we ask not to change the current early voting sites. Granville County Board of Elections is supposed to meet July 15th, and we urge them to rescind and vote to keep the established sites the way they are. We should not rob Peter to pay Paul. Excuse me, the timer.
You have 39 seconds remaining.
Okay. We shouldn't pay Peter to pay Paul. When we make this conversation only about budget efficiency or administrative ease, we lose sight of the country's core responsibility. The goal is to facilitate the constitutional right to vote. Government exists to serve the citizens, not the other way around. Government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. Please protect Granville County's strong voter turnout, fund the fourth early voting site to support rural communities, and to the Board of Elections, keep our successful established sites where they are. Thank you.
Sorry. I have to pick a new timer. This one is not working, but I am timing. Next is Ed Gleason.
Ed Gleason, 1973 Bulls Avenue, Creedmoor, North Carolina. Let me start by saying I came to this meeting prepared to do a 3-minute presentation. There's nothing, this is the public. The public came here to listen to a 3-minute presentation prepared by people who came to your meeting prepared. Item number 7, if you read it on your policy statement, which I read for years, says we have 3 minutes to vote, to talk. If we can't speak for 3 minutes, the people that are signed up could go on to the next meeting's public comments period. The bottom line is you could also be a good group of gentlemen and somebody bring up a motion that you give up 15 minutes more of your time this evening and give everybody their 3 minutes. I know you can't talk. I know that. I was born in 1946. My father fought in the Second World War. We're where we are because of that. The 15th Amendment was finally enforced in 1965, and voting then was open finally to Black Americans for the first time in the country and North Carolina. Let me conclude by saying it's not my intention to suggest that you and I emphasize this point. I've acted in a way, I'm not saying you've acted in a way to impede the vote. Even though that the board has not or cannot vote to change polling locations or times, you certainly control the purse strings. And I understand that you may not be able to do that tonight, but the bottom line is every one of you, and Zelodius, I pray to God that he's doing well, have the right to speak up to your constituents, not in private, in public. Do you think we have too many voting places? Do you think we should move them 30 miles so that people in Stouffville got to drive an extra 8?
Mr. Gleason, your time is up.
Think about it. Think about giving the rest of the people
Your time is up.
more time.
Thank you.
Next is Baba Carr.
I'd like to give you 1 minute of my time. Okay? Yeah, Babacar, 212 Granville Street, Oxford, North Carolina, 27565. And I'd just like to also protest about you changing our time from 3 minutes. We elected you, and you are cutting our time. I think you should respect us. That's a sign of disrespect. Let me say, I hope that Zelodius J is doing well. We are all praying for him. All of us on this side, all the people are praying for Jay. I'd like to ask that you fund the necessary polls that need funding, but I'd like to ask you to keep public works open. Please keep public works open. That's where the majority of people are, okay? And let me say that when it comes to public works, that's where we live, that's where we move, and that's where we have our being. Please respect us. Please give us our time the next time. I think that's a sign of disrespect. And we elected you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Next is Fred Johnson.
Thank you. 311 9th Street, Butner. Tonight's discussion is about whether you will fund a fourth early voting site. Your own budget demonstrates that you can. The county budget already funds 3 early voting sites. The only new cost before you tonight is the incremental cost of adding the northern site. To better understand that cost, I met with the executive director of the Board of Elections. We reviewed staffing requirements, shift schedules, and the hourly wage schedule. Based on all that information, I prepared an incremental cost estimate of approximately $53,500. I do this for a living. The county already has a funding mechanism for unexpected needs during the fiscal year. It's called the General Contingency Fund. That current balance is $917,000. More importantly, the board has already established a precedent for using that source of funds for election expenses. In May of 2024, the board approved $104,000 from the General Contingency Fund to pay for the election costs associated with an unbudgeted second primary. Election expenses are not outside the intended purpose of the contingency fund. May of 26, this board also approved anticipated legal fees. In other words, you can approve a budget amendment using the words anticipated costs. Funding for the fourth early voting site for this November election meets the purpose of the contingency fund. It creates no permanent financial obligation. Next year's voting plan will be considered independently, and next year's budget will be considered independently. The remaining question is whether or not you have the will to fund the fourth site. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Nixon Smith.
Good evening. My name is Nixon Smith. I live at 205 Highview Drive, Youngsville in Granville County. I just want to thank you all. I was going to speak on the flock camera, but that was postponed to a different time. But I want to appreciate you all dedicating a longer period of time to discussion for it. And I was hoping to express my concerns, but I'll wait till then. And is it possible that I yield my time to, I believe his name is Bob, Mr. Bob? Ed, I'm sorry?
You can make your statements about the flock camera now.
Oh, I can? Well, I had much more prepared, but in short, I was going to say that I'm concerned about the flock cameras because originally law enforcement needed to have a search warrant in order to track citizens' vehicles and cell phones. But now with flock cameras, they can bypass that simply because they have the subscription to the cameras. And all these cameras, whenever you pass by them, they'll make a digital profile on the vehicles and the license plates. And I appreciate the Sheriff's Department trying to explore new avenues of protecting the citizens, but I don't think this is a very prudent thing, especially considering how AI tends to hallucinate. And AI is a relatively new technology, and like new technologies, it still has a lot of problems. There have been many false arrests, and I just hope that we can find a better way of preventing crime in our county. Thank you. I yield my time.
Next is Sharon Gatlin.
Hello, my name is Sharon Gatlin. I live at 7535 NC Highway 96 in Oxford. I'd just like to add my voice to those others who are expressing concern about closing or moving the early voting locations that people are familiar with and depend upon and are nearby to the largest number of voters. I believe we should be moving in a way to increase voter turnout and participation among our citizens, which is, it seems like we're kind of doing the opposite by moving those locations. And I call upon the board, I hope that you will consider that. I appreciate your consideration to do whatever you can to, keep our early voting locations that we are familiar with. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next is Kyle Lamport or Lampart. Please remember to state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kyle Lampart. I live at 400 West B Street in Butner. I'm here today to ask that you all not only vote to fund the 4th early voting site in northern Granville County, but that you also make a motion to request that the Board of Elections restore Oxford Public Works and South Branch Library early voting sites. As a Butner resident, I am very concerned about the closing of South Branch Library early voting site. If the plan that the Board of Elections recently voted on were to pass, then my closest early voting site would be 15 miles and a 20-minute drive away. I'm obviously not alone in this. Many people in our community rely on early voting as the most convenient and flexible way for them to vote. I myself work for Durham County, and I do not get election day off, and I need to have the early voting period where I can go to a location to vote that is close to where I live. Butner and Creedmoor are two of the largest population centers in South Granville and should have access to an early voting location. There are over 22,000 registered voters in Southern Granville, and it only continues to grow. We will need more early voting capacity, and that is why the Tar River Elementary School was even added as a voting location in the first place. This is paramount, especially considering that the days available to vote early may decrease in the future. As other people have already said, we have the money available to fix this and ensure that voting is made accessible to all people in Granville County, and we can do that without taking access away from other people. The decision for these proposed early voting sites came from the state auditor in Raleigh. It is very important that we do not have people in Raleigh who have never lived in Granville County and do not know our community like you and I do make decisions for us. The Commission can put an end to this now and keep this decision in the hands of our citizens by voting to fund this 4th Northern Granville County voting site and requesting that the Board of Elections restore the Public Works and South Branch Library early voting sites. As Dr. Omokunde said, Granville County has the chance to show the rest of the state how to act and not let the state make decisions for us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Jacob Moore. Jacob Moore. Remember to state your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. Jacob Moore, 3587 Copper Creek Lane, Franklinton. Some people want an additional early voting site at the northern end of the county, and they want you, the Board of Commissioners, to make it happen. But they want us, the taxpayers, to foot the bill. They want us to squander away the general funds that includes our county's rainy day fund. Funds that could be used for emergency type situations, such as capital improvement needs for infrastructure repairs or salary retention for county administration and employees in the case of government shutdown, to ensure our services are met and public servants are paid. The funds also go towards solidifying our county's credit rating to further consolidate negotiations with lenders involving procuring future funds that might be needed. Secondly, the county co-hosted the July 4th fireworks celebration at Lake Holt along with the local municipalities and have so far the past few years at the allocated cost of $2,500. The purpose of this well-loved annual event is to celebrate our nation's founding on July 4th and the togetherness that day brings to all citizens of Granville County. This year, an elected official decided to take it upon himself to allow politics to be brought to the forefront of this celebration. During the welcoming ceremony, that official handed the microphone to a Democrat candidate who is running for office this November. The nonpartisan open event at that moment had become a campaign event for the Democrat candidate who provided the large crowd with a stump speech. No other candidate for public office present was given the chance to speak to the crowd. As a lifelong resident and native, I do not want this wonderful event to go away, but I do ask, should the county, i.e. us taxpayers, continue covering the cost for campaign speeches? Thank you.
Thank you.
Brad Oldenburg.
Good evening, Commissioners. Brad Oldenburg, 6588 Huntsboro Drive, Oxford. I'd also like to send a prayer to Commissioner Jay in hopes of his speedy return to that chair. No offense, Commissioner Wilford.
None taken.
Having seen item 19 in today's agenda, the Board of Elections Matters, I thought it might be helpful to inform the commissioners who may not have been able to attend those BOE meetings of the votes that took place over the last 3 weeks. On June 16th, the Board of Elections held a special meeting to choose early voting sites. There were 4 separate votes taken. The first was to move Election Day voting from Wilton Elementary to Tar River because the school was closing. That passed. The motion was passed and carried unanimously. The next 3 were 3 separate votes. One to add Stovall as an early voting site. The second was to close South Branch as early voting site. And the third was to move Oxford Public Works to the Expo Center. All passed by a vote of 3-2. And our understanding is that moves on to the state. That's what came out of the first meeting. The second meeting, held on June 30th, the Board of Elections held another special meeting at the Expo Center to review and approve early voting dates and times. Director Burnett proposed early voting dates and times to the board. The meeting quickly moved to a discussion about the possibility of funding a 4th site in the north for early voting. Granville County Commissioner Cozart advised the board that there was a Granville County Commissioners meeting tonight, Monday the 6th, and offered his assistance in getting an agenda item added. After the quarterly July 6th meeting for the Board of Elections was canceled due to one member's travel commitments, more discussion ensued. Sharon Alvarez made a motion to hold a special meeting on the 15th of July to establish early voting sites after clarification and guidance from the board attorney. After discussion, the motion passed unanimously. Lastly, Doug Smith motioned to accept the early voting dates and times proposed, and the motion passed unanimously. In summary, while there were conversation debates on many different issues during those meetings.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Kristen Hefner. Please remember to state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kristen Hefner. I live at 400 West B Street, Butner, North Carolina. I'm here today to ask you all to fund the 4th early voting site in northern Granville County and restore the early voting sites at Public Works and South Branch Library. Early voting access is incredibly important in Granville County, as 4 out of 5 voters in Granville County vote early. This means that all those folks have been voting at Oxford Public Works or South Branch Libraries for years now. Research shows that changing voting locations reduces voter turnout, and that should be something that we try to avoid at all costs. We want to find a solution that increases voter access for all people in Granville County, while also removing access from no one. Tonight, you all have the opportunity to do exactly that.
I've heard that the cost of funding an additional early voting site ranges between $50,000 to $90,000. We have about $31 million in our unassigned funds balance and $900,000 in the general contingency fund. As it's been stated, the general contingency fund has been used to cover unexpected election expenses. This means that even at the higher projected costs, funding this site would only take 0.3% of our unassigned funds this year. I know there are concerns about using unassigned or contingency funds for recurring costs, but I also want to remind you all that the town of Stovall does not offer early voting during their municipal elections held on odd years. That means that this site could only be funded every other year. This is also another argument against closing the South Branch Library, which is used every year by the population there. The math here seems really obvious to me. This is a decision that would cost us very little. It makes people on all sides of the issue happy, and it protects voter turnout and participation in this year's general election. Funding this fourth site and keeping our historical sites the same this year also gives the Board of Elections and you important data to consider during your budget decisions in 2027 and 2028. This will allow you to make the most informed and fiscally responsible decisions for our county that still prioritize protecting all Granville County citizens' unalienable right to vote. If these changes to our early voting locations are not about voter suppression and truly are about increasing access to voting in our county, then now is the time that we can prove that. Please vote to fund this fourth Northern Granville County voting site, and please request that the Board of Elections restore the Public Works and South Branch Library early voting sites. Thanks.
Thank you.
Ryan Brown. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Ryan Brown, 2009 Francis Court. I'm here to speak in opposition to the item that was pulled from the agenda, the flock cameras. I've had recent discussions with the sheriff and other people in the community, and there's real concern about what these cameras actually do versus what the salesmen for the company are telling you. The salesmen will say that they're not using AI to detect humans, except for the fact that I've seen them personally detect it on me when I'm walking. I can see they have AI models trained to detect cars, bikes, pedestrians, and the like. Is also the claim that the data will be wholly owned by the county. However, that's not true. If we share the cameras with people outside the network and outside the state, then we have zero ability to control whether or not they're using that correctly. Flock employees have also been caught, using data for personal gain or to show off or breaking their own policies. So even if we want to try and keep the data in the county, it's just not possible if we use this company. The sheriff said he's worried about transparency and privacy. The system is built in a way that's not transparent and not set up for privacy by default. What we could do if we wanted to, if we actually decided to go this route, is make sure that there are quarterly reports based on the network log, who is looking at our cameras, usage reports, who in the county is using our cameras, and all the different ways around that we can put on the transparency portal so that the people of Granville County can be aware of what's going on in the county and they can really see it. Finally, what I would urge, I know you're not taking up tonight, but don't adopt these cameras in general. We don't need them. They're an invasion of our rights, and everyone in the county will be affected, not just the criminals. However, if you do decide to adopt them, do it for 1 year, do it with full transparency, network logs, audit logs, and actually be serious about revoking the contract if there's any sort of violations. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is Mary Pettit. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Good evening. My name is Mary Pettit, and I reside at 712 Raleigh Street in Oxford, North Carolina. I will start with a quote that was published in the Ledger as a reply given by the Office of the State Auditor. The auditor has clearly stated that in his opinion, common sense and efficiency should guide decisions regarding early voting locations. So what is common sense? It's practical judgment and logic and knowledge held by most of the adults in a given society. Efficiency is the ability to accomplish a task, produce a desired result with the least possible waste of time, energy, effort, or resources. Common sense. Place early voting sites near the largest areas of population. We have two that have worked at the Public Works Building in Oxford and the South Branch Library in Creedmoor. This has proven to meet the needs of 4 or 5 voters in Granville County. You have a history here of the resources, time, and energy you have spent holding these sites. They are walkable. You don't need transportation, and the Oxford Public Works Building is 3/10 of a mile from a cart stop. Common sense. Considering additional sites, they need to be centrally located to the population, provide easier access for rural voters. Operate this on a trial basis, keep track of energy, effort, resources, evaluate this at the end of the voting period. This will give a clear standard to determine the efficiency of a new site, as you will minimize variables by not changing anything else. Common sense. Changing voting sites in the middle of an election year after primary elections have been completed makes for confusion. Any changes need to be communicated clearly to every voter, and it would add additional cost to your budget. Please add the 4th site, don't change anything else, and give us a place to cast our right to vote.
Your time
Thank you.
is up.
Thank you.
Next is Randy Blostein.
Good evening. My name is Randy Blaustein. I live at 1212 Red Cedar Court in Youngsville, here in Granville County. I'm here tonight regarding agenda item 19 to ask the board to approve the supplementary funding needed to support a robust 4-site early voting plan for Granville County. As commissioners, your primary mandate is the fiscal stewardship and overall well-being of our county. Tonight, those two responsibilities intersect perfectly. We're not asking you to arbitrate election law. We're asking you to use your explicit budgetary power to protect the rights of Granville County citizens. Right now, our local Board of Elections is caught in an artificial zero-sum gridlock. Under their rigid baseline budget, they cannot afford to look after every corner of this county. They're being forced to consider cutting established voting sites in the south just to provide basic equitable geographic access to our rural neighbors in the north. Voting should not be a geographic lottery. A voter in Stovall should not face massive transportation barriers to cast a ballot, and a voter down south should not see their local precinct stripped away to pay for it. We have the financial tools to solve the problem tonight. According to the county's own auditor financial records, Granville County sits on a remarkably healthy $27 million unassigned fund balance. This reserve is more than double what it was 10 years ago. It exists precisely to protect our community and to resolve critical localized infrastructure crises. The cost to fund a 4th early voting site represents a microscopic fraction of that $27 million safety net. Allocating these minimal matching funds will not compromise our county's financial solvency, but withholding them will absolutely compromise our citizens' access to local government. If this board fails to act tonight, we hand over our local autonomy. Because these artificial budget constraints, our local election board split, and this decision is on track to be dictated to us by the state bureaucracies in Raleigh.
Thank you.
Next is Jason Duncan. Please state your name and address for the record.
I reside at 108 Rectory Street, and my name is Jason Duncan, and I'm the facilitator for the PME in Granville County. Money, money, yeah. $30 million in Granville County reserves that are unassigned. Another $900,000 in contingency funds. It's stated that our contingency funds are used for unexpected needs that can affect or change program budgets. What better way to appropriate these funds than to give the northern part of the county their own polling site? Moving or switching sites that have historically given the county its most total votes in each election is preposterous at best. As I stated at the last Board of Election meeting, causing problems for the majority to solve one for the minority is not solving anything at all, especially when you have the funds to create a solution that pleases and doesn't disenfranchise anyone. You can't blatantly tell us to our face that you don't want us to vote, so you tactfully do it by trying to move our sites. It's unfair, disingenuous, and should never be able to be decided by people outside of our cities and our county. There will be no surrender or retreat from the black community to make sure our ballots are cast. When you move, we move. Just like that. Just cut the check because there's no checking us. The right thing is staring you in your face. Move towards it and be forward-facing with your communities. Just simply do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last is Chris Stevens. Last is Chris Stevens.
Chris Stevens, 3585 Arbor Place, Wake Forest, which is actually Granville County. You've heard from numerous people that the funding is available. So the only thing that I'll say about that is that is the people's money. Government has no money. It all comes one way or another from the people and should be spent for the benefit of the people. And I can't think of a better benefit than allowing people easy access to voting in North Granville and South Granville. And if you value voter engagement, as I do, then you will make the decision to make it easier, not harder, for everyone in Granville County to vote. I'm pretty sure that your friends and family didn't fight and die in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, in order to support the suppression of voter voice. I'm pretty sure that they fought and died so that we, the people, could continue to have a government that serves us, that cares about us, and is in partnership, not opposition, with us. Quality decisions hurt no one and make it better for someone. Don't hurt South Granville to make it better for North Granville. Make it better for everybody. Actions speak louder than words, as probably everybody's grandmother told them. Your actions will tell us who you are. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the public comments for tonight. Our next item of business is public health matters. Amendment to Central Community Services Opioid Settlement Contract for Reentry Services. Kathy, if you'll come forward.
You have to follow all of that. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here to ask for your support of the amendment to the Central Community Services contract to provide reentry services as part of our opioid settlement fund. This amendment is a 3-year amendment to provide reentry services that would support a half-time certified personal support person and connect people to community services once they have left the detention center. They actually start their programming while they're contained in the detention center, and then once released, that person stays with them for up to 6 months to help them make that transition back into the community. Whether it's finding employment, helping to find employment, housing, continuing with substance use prevention, treatment, whatever those needs may be, we've got someone that is going to be partnering with them and helping them to make that transition back into the community.
Do we have a motion to approve the amendment to Central Community Services Opioid Settlement Contract for Reentry Services with the inclusion of all law enforcement agencies in Granville County?
I'll offer that motion.
I second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Commissioner Karen, a second by Commissioner Cozart. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Yes, there is.
Commissioner May?
Yes, Ms. Hassett, thank you. And thank you for making that change. I just wanted to point out to the board that originally this was really just covering the Granville County Sheriff's Office and the Oxford Police Department in the language. And so the opioid crisis is countywide.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping in the future that you'll double down your efforts, Ms. Haslett, with both Butner Public Safety and with Creedmoor. And we can do what we can to get everyone engaged and at the table so that won't be an afterthought.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item of business is Human Resources Contract for NEOGOV Human Resources and Payroll Software. Ms. Miles?
Yes. Good evening, Commissioners and others. I want to take this opportunity to present our recommendation to permit Granville County to contract with NEOGOV for our Human Resource Information System. After a joint assessment with Human Resources, Finance, and County leadership, we propose transitioning to NEOGOV as a solution for our department's needs. The system will modernize the county's HR and payroll operations, enhancing accuracy and efficiency for applicants, employees, and both Human Resources and the Payroll departments. The initial annual cost of the system is $86,719, and it will provide a fully integrated solution that covers the entire employee life cycle, from recruitment to hiring to payroll to performances and beyond. Most importantly, the system is built specifically for government operations, so it addresses the complexities that we face daily. The platform also offers managed payroll services, which will significantly reduce the administrative strain on our payroll specialist, who is solely responsible for handling the payroll processes of over 400 full-time and part-time employees. NEOGOV is already well adopted across North Carolina, with more than 200 government agencies currently using the system. All Region K counties, Person County, Franklin County, Vance, and Warren currently use NEOGOV. This regional consistency supports networks and provides shared expertise and gives us confidence in its proven performance for public sector and HR payroll performances. If approved, the implementation process will begin in mid-August to early September. The rollout is expected to take about 6 months or more, which includes system configurations, data migrations, testing, and training before going live. HR, Finance, and NEOGOV will work closely to ensure a smooth transition to the system. Our goal is to have a seamless and accurate launch of the new software once it's fully implemented. Thank you for your time, and I will answer any questions that you have at this time.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Miles?
Mr. Acting Chair, I just want to say, when we looked at this, I saw it as a very comprehensive HR and finance program. To be able to dovetail those two functions together, I think it's going to be a great help to our HR department as well as finance. So very supportive of it. I'm glad there's a tool out there like this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cozart.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to point out that the cost was approved as a service expansion in the fiscal year 27 budget, and the proposed 5-year annual term is summarized in our documentation here. So we have the money set aside in our budget for this. And at this time, I'd like to put forth a motion that we approve this.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gooch, second by Commissioner Griffin. Is there any further discussion on this matter? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Miles.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next up, we have Finance Matters, Solid Waste Landfill Cell Construction Project Ordinance. Ms. Baird, take it away.
Good evening. So I am here to ask for approval for the new solid waste landfill cell construction project ordinance. So Granville County must construct a new landfill cell to maintain adequate disposal capacity and ensure compliance with the state and federal environmental regulations. The new cell will be located at 6595 Landfill Road in Oxford within the existing solid waste facility footprint. This project represents an extension of the county's current ability to serve Granville County and ensures that adequate capacity is available for long-term solid waste management. So the project ordinance is required to account for the multi-year nature of the capital project. The estimated cost of this project is $5 million and will be funded by the landfill fund balance and current incoming tipping fees. So the project activities will include engineering, design, permitting, site preparation, construction, environmental safeguards, and all associated testing compliance measures. The estimated project completion is fiscal year 2028. So adopting the accompanying resolution ensures proper financial administration and provides authority for county management to oversee project execution within the approved parameters. So I won't read word for word the resolution. It's in your packet, but what it says is that the county recognized the necessity of the landfill cell to be able to maintain compliance and to maintain adequate capacity for the county's long-term solid waste management. And the resolution is required for a formal project, multi-year project, where it establishes the budget, it defines the project scope, and then authorizes necessary expenditures. So I am recommending the approval of the project ordinance for the new solid waste landfill cell construction project.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Baird? Do we have a motion to approve the project ordinance for the new solid waste landfill cell construction project?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gooch, second by Commissioner Cozart. Is there any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise.
Thank you.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Baird. Parks and Ground Matters. Deputy County Manager, Ms. Wankel.
Good evening. So the next item on your agenda is a consideration to approve a purchase and installation agreement with Payroll Preferred for new playground structure and accessories at Granville Athletic Park. The county board has a long history of supporting recreational opportunities throughout the county, including direct funding for municipal and nonprofit recreation projects. During fiscal years 2015 through 2026, the board awarded nearly $1.5 million to these partner agencies, representing a significant investment in expanding recreational amenities countywide. In early 2026, the board directed staff to refocus these resources on meeting county recreation facility needs, resulting in approximately $130,000 being made available for priority improvements. So this is where we are. The fiscal year 2026 budget includes that $130,000 in funding that was redirected. So knowing that this was a new priority for county facility replacement, we identified several repair and replacement project needs at the gap. The highest priority among those is the replacement of the original playground equipment that was installed when the park opened in 2004. So after 22 years of continuous use, the existing playground equipment has exceeded the expected lifespan for commercial grade structures. The equipment is experiencing increased deterioration due to age, weathering, and normal wear. Components have already been removed or taken out of service for safety reasons. You can see some of these pictures here that the equipment is, playground equipment is in pretty sad shape. So it no longer provides a level of functionality and accessibility that is expected by the public. So this is what we're proposing. Installation of new playground structures and accessories. This will ensure compliance with modern safety guidelines, reduces liability risks, and restores a safe, engaging play environment for children and families. And in turn supports the county's commitment to maintaining the Gap as a high-quality recreation resource. So this is what is included in the proposal that's in your packet this evening. I don't necessarily need to read every one of these features, but we're going to look at the pictures in a second and you'll be able to see what they are. So this is a custom Trailblazer that has a shade canopy. There's a tic-tac-toe storefront and drum panel section in the center of the space, 2 spin cups, a quattro seesaw, flexible hangout, which is the guy that's in the front closest to the audience right now. It also includes rubberized mulch and surfacing for approximately 2,300 square feet, an ADA sidewalk mount half ramp system, and the equipment is rated for ages 2 through 12 and 5 through 12. And I do have a video if it will play, which basically is a 3D view of the new equipment that we're proposing to install. The selected vendor, Payroll Preferred, is an approved provider through Sourcewell, which is similar to state contract. It provides cost savings through a pre-negotiated pricing, and it reduces administrative burden for staff. It also complies with purchasing regulations. Funding was approved as a service expansion item in the fiscal year 27 budget for Parks and Grounds capital outlay. So at this time, we're recommending approval of a purchase and installation agreement with Payroll Preferred for the new playground structure and accessories at the Gap for an amount not to exceed $150,000. And we further recommend that the Board of Commissioners authorize the county manager to execute the contract once finalized by the county attorney's office.
Mr. Chairman, I'll offer that motion.
Okay. Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Karen, a second by Commissioner Griffin for the purchase and installation agreement with Playworld for new playground structures and accessories at the Granville Athletic Park, otherwise known as the Gap, for an amount not to exceed $150,000. Do we have any further discussion?
I do. I can't help myself here, and I wish Mr. J was here. I really do. Are you going to keep those colors? Well, I just thought it'd be a nice touch to have a really nice UNC/South Granville High School color. And,
we could open up a whole can of worms
Mr.
there.
J would appreciate that. So just saying. So that's
Take it
all.
under advisement.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner May. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, this is exactly how the workflow process is supposed to work. The Recreational Advisory Committee has talked about this. They recommended to this board that we suspend the grant programs that we've been, doling out the $1.5 million over the last 12 years? 10, 12 years. Putting it into the locations where our citizens are living, working, and playing. But now it's time to fix the equipment that we've got at our own parks. This is exactly how the process works. It went through the budget process. We had a budget put in place. The budget was adopted a couple weeks ago. We're a few days into our fiscal year, and voila, the project exists. This is fantastic work by our staff, and I couldn't be prouder.
All right, we have a motion and a second. No more discussion. We'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weichel. All right, our next item of business is the Board of Election Matters. Ms. Burnett, Would you please come to the podium? Cut your mic off.
Sorry. Sorry, thank you. I'm Tanya Burnett, the Elections Director for Granville County, and I would just like to state for the record that as Director, I do not make the decisions, nor do I advocate for them. I'm here tonight with a board member, Teresa Gilreath, and we were advised by our state board attorney that only 2 board members should be here tonight with me, 1 Democratic member and 1 Republican member. Teresa Gilreath is a Democratic member. The other member, Doug Smith, was supposed to be here. He's a Republican member. He texted me right before the meeting that he would not be able to come tonight because he wasn't feeling well. So we are here to address any questions regarding funding at the request of the county manager for a new early voting site in the northern part of the county. And I just want to make clear, I do not support or oppose the service expansion request to add a site or support or oppose any decision made here tonight. My job as director is that I must remain neutral and nonpartisan. So we are here tonight to address the service expansion and answer any questions.
Do we have any discussion by any questions for Ms. Burnett from any commissioners? Okay, you're not a commissioner, but go ahead.
Just perhaps a relevant piece of information. We did, with a variety of staff people, go over the expansion request from the budget process with a fine-tooth comb just to make sure that the numbers all made sense. And our best estimate is that the figure that was on that expansion request was probably a bit high, and that the total cost of an additional site would be between $50,000 and $60,000.
Thank you, County Manager. Commissioner May, did I see you?
Well, I was looking at the expansion request here. I actually have the budget book. It was 88,000. Is that correct? Okay. So what are we asking for tonight?
I don't know. I don't know what we're asking for yet. What is the request, and who makes? I think it needs to be made clear to the public who actually makes the decisions on voting sites. I've heard a number of people come before the public and indicate that we make that decision. So I think it needs to be made clear that this board does not make decisions in regards to voting sites.
Yes.
But I will talk about the copy machine at a later date, later in the meeting.
Okay, the Board of Elections makes the decisions about voting sites in Granville County or in any county, and the Board of Commissioners provides funding for the Board of Elections.
So it's not our board's decision where a site is selected, why, where, how, all that stuff is out of our purview. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Thank you.
And just for the record, what did the board actually decide? What did you vote on, and what was the result of the vote?
Well, we initially had proposed, well, the vote came out as 3-2 against closing, let me just say it exactly right. Closing South Branch Library, moving Oxford Public Works off site to to the Expo Center, as well as closing Wilton because the school is closing, and then having a 4th site in the Stovall area, or having a 3rd site in the Stovall area. That was the initial vote, and it was 3-2.
I'm sorry, but somehow or another, I'm not following what you're saying. What was the final result? What sites were selected? What sites were selected, and what was voted on, please?
Sir, part of the problem that has happened with the Board of Elections meetings has been that we ended up with a vote with not a whole lot of discussion. The discussion came after we were prepared, when we were sort of forced to have a vote without any discussion. And that's how it played out, sir.
Once again, what was the decision? Which sites were decided on in the vote, and what was the vote?
We came back on the last meeting on the 16th that I asked that we at least get the numbers on what it would cost to have a fourth site, and that's what the board finally approved. At that
Ma'am,
point.
I'm not asking about a fourth site. I'm asking about the 3 sites that were selected.
Sir, we came back on the 16th and said that we wanted to have a discussion with the Board of the county commissioners about the funding of a fourth site, and that was the final decision.
Ma'am, once again, what 3 sites did you decide on?
Let's
I
put it this
understand you're here asking about a fourth site, but what 3 sites did you decide on?
It was decided with a 3-2 vote that the voting precincts would be Stovall, the Expo Center, and Tar River.
Okay, and that was what it was voted on, and that's what, and if I understand the process, it was not a unanimous vote, so that, the results goes to the state, is that correct?
If it's not a unanimous vote, yes, sir, that is correct, that the vote then goes to the state, but that's only after the material and the actual findings are actually sent to them. They have not been sent to them. And so we still have time, and we have time up until July 24th.
Now, can we get
that information to them?
Now, let's move on to the fourth site you're asking for.
Yes, sir.
Have you decided where that site is going to be?
We are here to ask for the money for the fourth site to be at the Stovall site and maintain all the current sites that we currently have. And that will be the South Granville branch, the Oxford Public Works Building, and Tar River.
We don't have a decision on where they're at. So
We're
your board has determined that the 3 sites are going to be at 3 locations, that decision's been made, is that correct?
No, sir, it really hasn't been made.
Has it been voted on?
Yes, it has been voted on. It was a 3-2 vote, non-unanimous.
What are you voting, what would you like our board to do tonight in regards to, because we can't change any of that, correct, Ms. Burnett?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so I'd like for you to be engaging us on this, Ms. Burnett, because we need to know what exactly.
Let me start over.
What is
Let
actually,
me introduce myself
okay, thank
to
you,
you.
ma'am.
All right. I'm Teresa Smith-Gilreath, and I'm a member of the Granville County Board of Elections. I first want to thank you all for allowing the Board of Elections to seek financial support for the opening of a 4th early voting site in northern Granville County at the Stovall Public Library. As a member of the Board of Election, our solemn duty is to uphold the Constitution and assure that all qualified citizens have a right to free and unencumbered access to the right to vote. The State Board of Election works in conjunction with the County Board of Elections offices to assure that elections are conducted fairly and lawfully. It is this board that works with the current local Board of Election staff with Tanya Burnett as the executive director and 3 full-time positions, as well as temp position, and many other folks in the audience serve as precinct judges, poll workers. We are the team of the Granville County citizens that assure that our elections are conducted lawfully and fairly. We work independently of the Granville County Commissioners, but we must seek funding from the board, the county board, to assure that citizens in this county have free and fair elections. I would like to thank the County Board of Commissioners for acknowledging that you had in fact received an expansion request during this budget request. The current data that I have access to has estimated the cost to be anywhere between $50,000 and $60,000 for have a voting site in Stovall. This would include the cost of poll workers, reflecting the pay increase effectively July 1st, 2026. There may be additional costs with regards to equipment and for IT expansion. And to this end, I stand before you to assure that the citizens of the Sassafras and Stovall area have equal access to early voting sites. However, to deny the same right to the citizens from Butner, Stem, Creedmoor, Tally Ho, and Mount Energy precincts with the closing of the South Branch denies them the same right that Stovall and Sassafras is currently seeking. The same is true of the voting precincts in the city of Oxford, which includes Antioch, Berea, Corinth, Cradle, East Oxford, South Oxford, West Oxford, and Salem precincts, with the change of the historical precincts at Public Works facility to the Granville County Expo Center. The minority members of this board, Sharon Alvarez and myself, have presented compelling evidence that citizens of approximately 12,515 from the southern end of the county should not have their early voting site at South Branch Library in Creedmoor closed to open a northern site of approximately 3,293 votes, nor should the Public Works early voting site be moved to accommodate this. After all, the vision is to have efficient, common sense voting locations across Granville County to give people an equal access as possible to make it easy to vote. I am hopeful that we as the Granville County Board of Elections will continue to promote fair and impartial elections to the citizens of Granville County, and I'm merely here to ask for that additional funding in that expansion plan to facilitate the opening of the fourth site and provide that as well as what we currently have. And the other member was supposed to be here to talk about their viewpoint on all of this, but they're not present. And
Thank
so
you
I
for
am
those
the
comments, Ms.
representative
Gill.
for our board tonight.
Thank you for those comments.
Mr. Chairman, I've got some,
We're merely asking for funding.
We understand. We understand.
got a couple procedural questions. I think it's probably an attorney weigh in on this. So as I'm hearing the story regaled, we had a 3-2 vote. The losing side, minority, came back, put forth a new idea, and started the process over. Did I interpret that properly?
No.
I'm not clear on what happened with that.
They had a 3-2
I'm not
vote.
either. Could somebody please explain what went on?
you had-
Because I can't even get a straight answer about the three
I think we need
sites they
to,
chose.
I think we, and this is a matter for the whole board to decide, and I'm not trying certainly to shut down a commissioner's comments, but I think the only thing that this board can do is decide on whether it wants to provide additional funding or not.
What I'm asking.
And so I don't know what happened fully because I've been involved in part of it. Mr. Coyne has covered the meetings, but I have been consulted, but it sounds like some things may have taken place in consultation with the state board that I've not been made aware of. But this board cannot get into and has no authority to decide election places. It can determine if funding's available.
So it's not what I'm asking. Procedurally, I'm trying to figure out how we got here, because we started the budgetary process, and I believe it was in February, and went through and adopted a budget, and now we're being asked to amend it. So I'm just confused at how this process, I mean, it's
a different, yeah, that's.
I'm on the redo point. I mean, we've already adopted resolutions, we've passed things, other people have voted. I'm just confused that the Pandora's box here of if you do something, it automatically can undo it right away. Is that what we're doing?
It would be a budget amendment, and certainly while I don't remember it being presented in any of the budget sessions as an expansion request, but it would be a budget amendment.
Excuse me, it was submitted as a service expansion in the budget, but it was not addressed or funded.
Right, it was in the budget book. I'm just saying I don't remember it being specifically addressed at any of the budget meetings, at the public presentations, but it was in the budget book, and it would be a budget amendment now.
So, Mr. Cummings, was it recommended by your staff?
No, it was not.
Okay, why not?
Well, we had a lot of choices that we had to make. We had many millions of dollars of additional costs being proposed for the county budget, and we were trying to bring one in with no tax rate increase. And that one, we did talk about it actually I think at the board retreat in February, we talked about it, and maybe one other time, and it was on the list of expansion requests for people to look at and ask questions about, and it didn't rise at that time to the funded list.
Were there ever any concerns brought to you whether or not staffing was a problem for these sites?
We did talk about that a little bit, and I think probably Ms. Burnett could speak more intelligently to that challenge than I can.
Yes, I had several people that I thought were going to work.
Excuse me, and I apologize. Did you discuss this with the county manager, the staffing?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes. I thought I had people lined up. At our first meeting, I did not have anyone. Thought I had found about 4 to 5 people. Those people at the moment have kind of wanted to work elsewhere. I do have a commitment from one chief judge who is willing to work at the site. So I've got to find some additional people to put together to make the site work, if that's the decision of the board.
Okay, so when the budget request was made, was there concern at that time about staffing the site by you?
At that time, I hadn't considered staffing. It was just the board. This was initiated originally through a commissioner and came to me. I presented it to my board. Board discussed it. At that time, again, it wasn't funded. A previous chair had talked about the CARTS bus. That wasn't funded. So it was put back in the service expansion again.
So was it discussed with the county manager during our budget discussions you had with him, whether or not you could staff that site?
That I do not recall. I believe it's been recently, but
Somewhere in there, we did have that conversation. I don't know exactly when. But.
So, because I recall that was some of the concern that there might have been be able to staff. And I got that expansion request in here that was made. And just give me a second here.
And one of the things that we did have in our board meeting is that the Republican parties did send out seeking poll workers, and this is one of the flyers that they put together. And then there's some additional flyers that are seeking additional poll workers. But this is an ongoing issue, and we are working to get additional poll workers with the pay increase. That's somewhat enticing to some people to do that. And given the outcry of our citizens as a result of the closing and moving of different precincts, I am sure the Democratic Party chair as well as the Republican chair is going to work very, very hard to make this work, because they're asking for new precincts, but at the expense of other precincts. And to make things equitable, the very thing that we need to do then as community members soliciting in one of these things, that we have to ante up and actively participate in all of that. I mean, and so we do have material here. I've even brought a sign-up sheet for anybody that would like to sign up to be a poll worker. And I am talking to people who have sort of kind of did not want to participate because of all the legal wrangling that is happening within our polling places, that people don't feel comfortable in working in them because of some of the dialogue and the language that goes on, and who works with whom and all of that. So we have to do better as citizens in working together to make all of this work a lot better than what it is. We're driving people away sometimes with our partisanship type behavior. And that is not what the Board of Election is here to do. We're here to provide a safe and fair place and venue for people to vote, to make their choices known at that point. But we're intimidating and driving people away. And that is not what we should be doing.
Ms. Gilder, thank you for your comments. I think, commissioners, we've gone down, this is a budget request. We've all discussed, let me finish, please. We've all discussed our role as commissioners is to fund the Board of Elections. Thank you, ma'am, I got it. If we so choose, then we will decide if that's what we do. The Board of Elections will choose those sites. If it's not a unanimous vote, my understanding is it goes back to the state auditor to make that decision. Just
It would
yes
go
or no?
State Board of Elections.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any other comments? Commissioner Gooch, 1 minute. Commissioner Griffin has been patiently waiting.
I just want to say I've been contacted by a lot of people via telephone, email, and I appreciate all the concern. I really do. And I take what you all say to heart. But I just want everybody to understand the complexity of no matter whether we fund a site or not, we don't have the authority to make the decision for the Board of Elections. I know what I would love for to happen, but I can't make that happen. I don't even feel like it's my right legally as a commissioner to say, I want you to do this. The only thing I can do is say, I would like to fund the site, and then you can hopefully do what I would like and the citizenry would like you to do.
That's exactly what we're asking for.
So at this point, I would like to make a motion that the Granville County Board of Commissioners fund a fourth site.
Second motion.
Okay.
Call for some discussion.
We have, that's coming up, Commissioner Gooch. We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin, a second by Commissioner Cozart. Do we have any further discussion, Commissioner Gooch?
Yes. When this issue was first brought to us in the original budget retreat, budget process, no one from the Board of Elections showed up. I'm yet to hear the request for funds that we're hearing tonight. Is that a voted on request from the board? I think we need to answer that question before we move forward. Did the Board of Elections vote to ask us for the money?
Ms. Burnett, can you answer that question?
At the time when this budget was being presented, we were assuming that we would have our standard current early voting sites as they've always been. We did not find out anything about changing of precincts and closing of precincts until the end, until the 16th. That's when we found of June the 16th. Let me make that clear. June the 16th. The budget at that point already had the expansion in it. And anyway, but the specifics, no, sir, we had not discussed it as a board.
So,
okay, you have not discussed it as a.
And that's my problem with all of this.
You have not discussed it as a board to ask us
No.
for the additional funding.
It was in the expansion plan requesting.
Did the board vote? Did the Board of Elections vote to ask the county for the additional funds? Or did individual members of the board decide to ask the county for funds? Which way was it?
What day did you have the meeting with the budget?
She's asking at our meeting, and I don't believe that happened. That was handled. Sir, I do not believe that there was a formal vote to request the funding. That was discussed with our former chairman after we finished the meeting.
In light of this, I would like to amend the motion to set aside the funding for a fourth site contingent on the board selecting a fourth site, coming to an agreement, and if they do not come to agreement, it will be contingent upon approval by the State Board of Elections.
Commissioner Gooch, can I rephrase this so that we all understand what your motion is? In light of the fact that we do not think that the Board of Elections has voted to ask the Granville County Board of Commissioners for additional funding for a fourth site, your motion is that we approve contingent on the Board of Elections at their next meeting voting to approve asking this board for a fourth site. Is that correct?
Yes, I want to set aside the funds.
Okay.
Set aside the funds contingent on.
I understand. Does the board understand the motion?
The attorney doesn't.
Okay,
I was,
all right.
okay. From what I'm hearing,
I mean, I understand the intent of the motion. What I want to ask Ms. Baird is from a budgetary standpoint, can we obligate the board to do that? Because my understanding is once the Board of Elections votes on this and it's approved by the state, you have an obligation to fund it that may become effective before your actual budget amendment becomes effective. So that's, Ms. Baird, can you come down for a moment? I'm sorry. I'm trying to just figure out the mechanism for making sure this works correctly. So as I understand it, what's being asked is a contingent vote that if 4 sites are approved, not only by the Granville County Board of Elections, but through any additional approval that's necessary at the state board, that the funding would then be set aside. It seems to me that it's a vote now to amend the budget and that the money would only be spent if 4 sites were approved. Is that?
That's correct.
So I don't think it can be a contingent vote. I think it has to be, if you're going to do that, you either have to ask the Board of Elections to vote and say they want 4 sites, so you know that's exactly what they want, and they can't specify it, and they vote on the 4 sites and go through the proper notice. So that's one legitimate way to handle it, and the other legitimate way to handle it is to go ahead and vote for a budget amendment tonight, and the money would be spent contingently, but the vote wouldn't be contingent. In other words, you can't spend the money unless you have 4 sites, and that's a separate legal approval process.
I would feel much better just sending the entire package back to the Board of Elections and let them do the job that they were put in those offices to do. And at the 3-2 vote, when 2 of the people who are unhappy with the way they vote decide they're going to usurp the process and don't have a vote to ask for the additional funds, there was no vote taken to ask for the additional funds. The 2 people who lost out of the 5 decided to come forward and ask for the funds. There was no vote. You talked about it with someone and discussed it with someone, but there was no vote.
No, that is not true, sir. We did have a vote on the last meeting that we had on the 16th.
You said that you did not have a vote.
At that point said that we were going to ask for the funding.
So, Ms. Guild, excuse me, Commissioner, okay, at the last meeting,
And it was unanimous for that.
it was a
part of it.
5-0 vote
Yes, sir.
that the Board of Elections would ask the Granville County Board of Commissioners for funding for a 4th site.
Yes, sir.
That was, okay, now, Commissioner Gooch, hold on.
And I'm the one.
Hold
who
on one
asked for
second.
it. Yes, sir.
This is what Commissioner Gooch has asked. If that vote was taken, and if it was a unanimous vote, and it was in the minutes, that is what your board, or the Board of Elections, voted for the 4th site. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
And that is the way it turned out.
Yes, sir.
So your board is asking unanimously for our board to fund a 4th site.
We're asking for the funding. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on, sir. Go right ahead, Commissioner Carey.
I received a text message from Debbie Butler, board member, saying that the board did not vote to request more funding.
Okay, there's a video, so.
yes, please, because you stated to me that the board did not vote to ask for the money. But you also stated that the board voted unanimously to fund a 4th site. Which one is it?
So you have to put it in the proper context of when we're talking about this. Initially, when I said that we had not even been presented what our voting precincts would look like when the budget process started. It was not until June the 16th that it was even presented to any of us on the board.
That's a separate issue. I asked you specifically, did the board vote for you to come here and ask for the additional funding? And you said no. So the board did not take a vote. but you also said that the board voted unanimously for a fourth site. So how is it? I know I'm slow, but I am really slow and confused on this.
What has happened is that process was not handled properly according to the way things have been handled on the Board of Elections. We have consistently had unanimous votes. We thought it was time for us to set the plan for the next voting cycle, and we thought we were merely gonna have a meeting to discuss our usual stuff, not to be presented with a vote to close precincts and open others and do all of this wrangling and stuff. And then because there was a majority there, it just went through and there was absolutely no discussion about which precincts or where they would go or anything.
Was there discussion about asking this board for money?
Yes, sir, there was discussion about.
Was there a vote to ask this
Yes,
board?
and
That's
it
a,
was
you
5 to
just
0.
answered that
No,
question
5 to
different
0.
from what you answered earlier.
After the initial vote, there was another vote that was taken, that took place, and it was 5 to 0.
Mr.
We unanimously said, yes, we needed to come back before the county commissioners to get the
Commissioner
money.
I want to make it clear, I'm not against funding,
Okay,
but I want it to be done the right way.
I understand,
No,
Commissioner.
the problem is it wasn't started the right way.
Ms. Gilbert,
sir.
one minute. Commissioner Cozart would like to ask a question, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I attended both of the Board of Elections meetings, and on the 16th, the chair then of the Board of Elections did share a comment that because the county did not fund the fourth site, there were changes necessary to voting sites. Well, on the June 30th meeting, I hope I have my dates right, the Board of Elections agreed to set another meeting date to see if this board would be willing to fund a fourth site. And that's kind of where I see it. And then they have another meeting, I think July 15th, I think, as a follow-up, so they can follow up on what we did. One of the things that came up in that meeting was the chair indicated that the changes were needed to cover the northern end because there was funding for only 3 sites, and the fourth site did not get approved by the Board of Commissioners. So the purpose of this meeting, and the second meeting, I did let them know, because I think they were looking at meeting today at 4 o'clock at first, and I just made them aware that we would not meet until 7 o'clock. So they will be in a position, if we fund the fourth site, to do what it chooses to do about site locations. It won't be that they don't have the funding for fourth site, and what they do will be their call. And so that was the way I left the second meeting, is that they were waiting to see what we as a board would do in terms of approving the fourth site, and then they would act accordingly.
That is exactly what I recall, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Would we like to add the minutes from the Board of Elections into the record?
Would be a question for the county attorney.
Tanya, do you have the minutes?
I don't.
How about this copy? Is that all right? You have minutes? I do. Have minutes been prepared already?
Debbie Butler, our secretary, prepares the minutes.
I'm sorry? No, I don't know what's going on. Why are these people talking?
One minute, please. 1 minute. Okay. Where did the minutes come from? Okay.
Have the minutes been approved by the board, Tanya?
No, Debbie Butler is our secretary.
Okay. So have these minutes been approved, Ms. Burnett?
No, sir.
Okay. So then,
No, sir.
But you're saying they reflect there was no vote taken? They are the minutes from the secretary. She prepared them because they knew that there was going to be discussion. The discussion was to send members of the board here tonight. The discussion was not to ask all these questions about the way things have pandered out. Again, it was the 3-2 vote, and the minority is pushing the agenda, which is fine. However,
please, in the audience, please hold your remarks.
I think it's very important that we hit this back to the Board of Elections and let them do their job. But besides that point, the way that the flow of things are supposed to go is not being followed. And that's my point. I agree we need more voting. I agree that the citizens need to be more active in the voting. The voting that we're paying for as citizens needs to be partaken of by more citizens. And the amount of time and effort that it takes to put forth the voting process through the Board of Elections is a monumentous task, and they do a fantastic job. I commend Ms. Burnett and her team that she's assembled, and tallying those votes and getting them together and running the elections is a monumentous feat. And we get the participation rate that we get is deplorable. However, the fiscal option of, we could always just hire a whole bunch more people and send them out to everybody's house and let them do it that way. I'm being facetious, of course, but I mean, money doesn't grow on trees, and ambulances cost a lot. And we want to fund things. Sheriff, I hope you're paying attention that all you got to do is come back and ask for another 50-some K after the budget's been adopted. And I'm saying that facetiously as well. But every department could come forward and say, you know, I had an expansion request that didn't go my way because I didn't advocate for it during the budget process. I found out in the 11th hour there was going to be some changes made, and I'm not happy about the way the vote came, so I want to revisit the past. And that's all my point is. I think we should fund what we agreed to in our budget and follow the process that has been in place for a long time. We have a budget ordinance. Budget amendments come up. Yes, they do. But when they're already in the budget process of an expansion request and they get voted down multiple times by multiple different entities, I mean, if you want to revisit everything, we can redo the whole budget.
No, sir. I'm not standing here asking for each and everything to be revisited. What I'm asking that you take into consideration that there obviously have been a lot of protocol breakdowns with regards to this process. And when the whole board is not apprised of what is going on, and at the last minute we are changing everything that we know has been outstanding.
We understand it, Ms. Gilbert, but ma'am, here's a question. We have to maintain our processes and our protocols of this board and the decorum of the board, just as your board should maintain yours. And the fact that you had a breakdown in that process, however it happened, our role is not the role of a referee. Oh, and that's what we're being asked to do. I don't think it's a question. Well, no, let me finish.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm not going to continue. I want to speak and not be interrupted.
Please allow Commissioner May to finish his comments, at which time, Ms. Gill, you're welcome to finish yours.
Our board is being asked to take an action that your board has not formally approved or not approved. It's not been, we don't know where that stands. So, and then I think there are commissioners that are willing to vote to fund. Mr. Gooch is stating that he's willing to fund some type of contingency in that regard. Should your board come back and make a formal request as to where the site's going to be, what's it going to be, this, that. We're not at that point now. Your board has decided 3-2 on 3 sites, and they've not decided anything on the 4th site. And your board is now saying, or members of your board are articulating that they need more funding, but it's not been collectively voted upon by your board, as I understand it.
Okay, are you finished, Commissioner May? Okay, Commissioner.
What minutes did they provide to you?
Ma'am, I don't have them. Our county attorney has them.
Do you all want me to read what the draft minutes say?
What is the date on those minutes?
Well, it's the draft minutes. Again, they're draft minutes that haven't been approved by the board from June 30th.
And I have yet to, I do not have those.
That's why I'm making it clear to everybody involved that they're draft minutes.
Our attorney will read them out for the audience and for.
And again, I do that with the caveat that there's not a clear record of what happened at the Board of Elections. Our quarterly meeting on July 6th has been canceled. The chair will be out of town. Sharon Alvarez made a motion that we hold a special meeting on July 15 to further discuss the 4th site option. Teresa Gilworth seconded the motion. Discussion included that we have the county manager
and/or commissioners there. There was some discussion of attending the Board of Commissioners meeting on July 6 at 7 p.m. The motion carried unanimously. The meeting would be at 4 p.m., location TBD. So I read that, and I'm not sure what happened after reading that paragraph, if that's accurate.
Ms. Gilded, I'm County Attorney. I'm going to make a comment. If you want to stop me at any time, please do.
I'll try to read your mind. Yeah.
It's my sense, I think we have commissioners that are willing to support a fourth site. I don't, after listening to our board and yourself and Ms. Burnett, do not feel you have come to us with the proper protocol. We need a unanimous vote. I believe, is that correct? Or
Well, I think you need at least a majority.
a majority vote to ask this board for funding for a fourth site. Let me finish, please, ma'am. Okay? I think that's what this board needs. Do we agree with that? Once, County Attorney, so far as okay.
Legally, I think the Board of Elections can, by a majority vote, ask for funding for a fourth site. I think to actually pick four sites, they have to have a unanimous vote, or the state board picks it.
But we're not in that
We're not
fight.
in there.
We don't have a dog in that fight.
I think you're talking about two steps.
I am.
Right.
The first step is we need you to come back with Ms. Burnett. And one other, I believe it was stated earlier that the other gentleman did not make it, but with two, to ask this board, just like we have department heads and other requests for funding for a fourth site. We understand the cost is between $50,000 and $60,000. When that happens, this board will make a motion, if it's a motion and a second, and then we will vote on that. Is that comfortable? But we need that to come forward first. And I don't think we have that.
And with regards to Attorney Rand, the last paragraph there that we talked about, that we were going to have this meeting come before you to ask for that money, and Doug was supposed to be the spokesperson for
No, it doesn't. Let me read again what it
Yes, sir.
says. And again, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, and all I can do is read the paragraph, and I don't know, I'm not putting any kind of guarantee on the paragraph either, right? All I've got is unapproved minutes. But that paragraph says, our quarterly meeting on July 6th has been canceled. The chairman will be out of town. Sharon Alvarez made a motion that we hold a special meeting on July 15 to further discuss the fourth site option. Teresa Gilruth seconded the motion. Discussion included that we have the county manager and/or commissioners there. And that's at the July 15th meeting, as I understand it. There was some discussion of attending the Board of Commissioners meeting on July 6th at 7 p.m. The motion carried unanimously. The meeting would be at 4 p.m., location to be determined. And so that's referring to the, as I understand it, the July 15 meeting.
Okay.
So
Well, I can only say I am here because I was asked by the board to be the representative for this meeting today and come prepared to talk about asking and requesting this additional funding. And Doug was supposed to be here with me. That is what we were supposed to be doing today.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Absolutely.
I think if this board does not take action tonight, I don't know on this particular issue what the Board of Elections will be able to do in terms of meeting. They have the three sites. I don't know what new considerations they could give, because there would not be any action, no action would have been taken by this board. And the spirit of that meeting went, because I was here, they wanted to wait to see if this board would agree to add a fourth site. Then they could put all marbles on the table, look at their options, and decide where to go. And that's all we could do is approve the fourth site. So I think where we are tonight, if we don't approve the fourth site, when they meet on the funding, when the funding
misspeak.
The funding for the fourth site, the Board of Elections I don't see where they would have anything to work with at that meeting. No.
I'm perfectly fine with setting aside funds for it. And let the Board of Elections know that the funding will be available if they get the fourth site. And they haven't voted on the fourth site, and we don't know if it's gonna be a split vote or unanimous vote. Or, you know, if it's a split vote, it goes to the state, and we don't know if the state's gonna approve it or not. But I want to make it clear that I want to be sure that the funds are set aside if they do the fourth site.
Okay.
How can we, Commissioner, how can we make that in a motion, County Attorney?
Can I ask another fun question? The 30th was a special call meeting, right? And you're supposed to talk about things that are on an agenda, correct? And if the things that come up that aren't on an agenda, that's okay?
An emergency meeting, you can't talk about things that aren't on an agenda. A special call meeting, as long as it's given 48 hours notice, my recollection is that you can talk about things that aren't on the agenda. It's only an emergency meeting that you can't do that for, is my recollection.
Which one was it, special call or emergency?
I believe it was a special call meeting.
Special call meeting.
Okay, so I was asking that as an actual question, like, so how does that work? So emergency?
Emergency can be given on very short notice, and you can only talk about things that are the subject of the emergency and stated in advance. My recollection is that a special call meeting that's given at least 48 hours notice is just like any other meeting, that things can be added to the agenda just like they can to this agenda. It would be no different in substance than this meeting.
You good, Commissioner? Okay.
And so I think I had a question to address the budget issue. Right.
Yeah, the budget amendment.
But you want me to address that? I don't want to volunteer opinion unless somebody's asking me for it. Is that what you're asking me for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and I rely on Ms. Baird as a finance director, but my understanding is that if you're going to direct financial action that could take place in the future, that what you need to do is pass a budget amendment tonight, and the money would only be spent if a fourth site were then authorized and approved. So there would be no authorization to spend the money unless the fourth site were authorized and approved.
And that is to your Commissioner Gooch, I think that's what you had in mind. Is that not correct? Okay, we're good with that. Okay.
Right.
Commissioner Gooch, we're good with that.
You're good with the way I worded that, right?
Yes, I think it may be clear if we could just move the funds into assigned fund balance. That way, instead of actually appropriating the funds, we just move that with the board approval into assigned fund balance.
I just want to be clear that if that fourth site is approved at the July 15th meeting, and then that is if that's unanimous, then at that point, I think this board would have an obligation to fund it, correct?
Yes, and when we come back in August, then I could just present the budget amendment to take it out of assigned and move it into appropriations.
But as long as they know they can't vote no to that at that point, that once it is approved by the County Board of Elections, and it would be the final plan, right? Is that, I'm understanding that correctly, that they couldn't vote no at that point? So,
That's right.
So to me, if you set up something that you can't vote no to in the future, you should go ahead and take the vote now so everybody is voting on that action. I don't know how you bind yourself to take a yes vote in the future. And if you think I'm misreading that, no, please tell me.
Well, wouldn't the vote be to assign the funds?
That is what I understand, Ms. Baird, is that what you're saying is we assign it to this.
We assign it for that very specific purpose.
That's the way I understand.
But it would have to be a budget amendment, right? Like, we don't have the money in the budget for that right now.
That's right.
And so we'd have to have a budget amendment to make that work.
That's right. And if the board tonight is approving to set the money aside, then we could put it in assigned fund balance.
They're approving.
Once everything comes into place, then I come back with the actual budget amendment and say, okay, we are now actually appropriating those funds to be used now that the conditions have been met.
Okay, as long as it's clear that it can't be voted down at that point in time.
Okay.
But the steps, the Board of Election would have to take the necessary lawful steps that's within their board's purview to do In other words, because right now, we have one member from one party representing that. Ms. Burnett is nonpartisan. And so I just want to make sure it's understood, Ms. Griffith, and thank you for being here tonight, is that at the end of the day is that commissioners, if you vote to give the funding, that's your prerogative, but it's not making determination on anything else that follows. That board has a responsibility
That is
to live up
correct.
to their constitutional duties to do what they're supposed to do, whether we agree or disagree with that.
That is correct, Commissioner May.
But other than that, oftentimes this board becomes the kicking, the board that gets kicked around because we didn't do this or do that. So I want to make it really clear, where elections take place is not within the purview of this board. Can you please say that, Ms. Gilbert?
I'll be glad to say that, sir. The elections are within the purview of the Board of Elections.
Okay, that's all I
And
need.
we seek the funding from the county commissioners.
So-
And I
Thank you so
started that
much.
off in my very
That-
first presentation
Ms. Gilbert,
when we
thank
came
you.
before this
Okay,
board.
that's fine. Thank
we
you.
got it.
And I
We
want to
got it.
talk about the copy machine when we finish
Okay,
this.
now, 1 second, everybody take a deep breath. Okay,
Just-
hold on, Commissioner Gooch. Would you like to state a motion?
I want to ask a question first.
Who are you
I want
asking the question
the
of?
county attorney.
Okay,
All right. If I'm understanding the procedure, we can vote to take 55 or 60, we'll call it 60,000 out of unassigned fund balance and put it into assigned fund balance for the Board of Elections for a fourth voting site. We can do that tonight, and when they actually vote on it and they get the fourth site, then we have to come back with a budget amendment to move the funds from the assigned fund balance to be transferred to them. Is that correct procedure?
I'm not comfortable giving that legal advice right at the moment. If you give me a minute, I will research it. My understanding is that that if you're going to do something that somebody's going to rely on in the future, you would have to have a non-contingent action. And Jennifer and I, give us a minute to work on this. I just want to make sure we're on the same page about it. I understand we don't want to move it into, can we go on to another item? I think you all know what you want to
Okay.
do on it and come back to it.
But doesn't the majority have to vote to start a process? I mean, I'm just confused about that whole 3-2 thing. You got people that lost a vote who make a motion. Ms. Alvarez made a motion to start this whole thing process over.
I made the motion.
So the motion to have a special meeting to discuss something that was a cure to a vote that was just lost. Right?
No, sir. The original discussion of some of this was going to visit the other site up in Stovall. And at that point, we were led to believe that there was no money available for a fourth site. And then we ended up having this board meeting that ended up having a site in Stovall and then excluding and closing other sites. And then with the outpour of citizens coming in and petitioning and bringing to our attention that we don't need to do the very things that the board had sort of kind of voted on, but it had discussion.
But that's where I know we keep going back to this.
I understand.
But it's, I keep getting off track here. You have a board that's made a decision. They've made a decision. You don't agree with that decision, but they've made a decision about where they want the voting sites.
Because it's not unanimous yet, it's still our decision. It is still our decision because it hasn't gone before, it hasn't been sent up yet, and we still have an opportunity to uphold and hear what the citizens of Granville County have plainly said to us. They have petitioned and said to us as board members, as well as county commissioners, and to each other, that they don't think what has happened was in the best interest of our county.
Did Doug,
for the comments.
Debbie, or LaRue bring it back to the floor?
The unofficial minutes that we were given state that motion to set another meeting on July 15th was approved unanimously by the
Yes.
board.
It-
That's what these unofficial minutes say.
Exactly.
Who made the motion?
Ms. Alvarez did.
Who was in the minority on the vote?
It was 5-0.
No, the vote for the 3-2.
Hold on, I have a question for you. Can we wait, can this board wait until after their meeting and have a special audience? I'm not talking to y'all, I'm sorry. I'm speaking to the county manager. Thank you. Can we wait until they have their next meeting and have a vote, and then we have a special called meeting to act on this?
I don't see any reason procedurally why we couldn't do that. I don't know that I fully understand sort of the timelines and time requirements for state approval and so forth, how that plays into it.
What, Ms. Burnett, your question?
Yes, the deadline for me to submit everything to the state board is July 24th, and the state board attorney told me not to miss that deadline.
Okay.
He also said that we could go back and revisit, and the state actually welcomed that, and see if we could work out a unanimous agreement. But at this point, it is a 3-2 vote, which would go to the state unless we meet again and, revisit.
You have a meeting scheduled? I thought I heard July the 15th. Is that correct?
That was brought up at our last meeting
Okay.
to meet on that date. However, our chairman has resigned on Thursday, effective Thursday. So I'm waiting on state board guidance as to how I proceed.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner May, I understand. If we can procedurally go down that path, if y'all could have your meeting as soon as possible, we could have a called meeting on July the 20th, which is a Monday. Is that something
It would have to be a special called meeting.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
That can be set whenever the board wants it to be set.
Okay.
But if the goal was to have changed the precincts the way that they were, is to benefit the citizens in Stovall.
Ms. Hill.
Well, my point is though, but the problem was there was no funding. And so that's how we ended up where.
Okay, we
where
appreciate,
were.
thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
We're going to let the county attorney and our finance director discuss it. We have something that we could do possibly.
If at all possible, I want to put this to rest tonight and have the funding available.
Okay, Commissioner Goode,
If at all
if that,
possible,
I
but
understand.
we gotta wait on the
That's
county
what-
attorney
that's
and
what
the
we're-
finance director.
That's what we're waiting for. Okay, I don't disagree, but we'll let them talk about it.
Elections, but it would be appropriated solely for the establishment use of full funds. Yeah. Can that work? Are you okay with that? I don't want to get into business too far. I'm not sitting there waiting. Do it.
So the mechanism, if we're still talking about that, the mechanism would be, as we understand it, or at least as I understand it, and she's not going to throw anything at me, would be that you all move funds from the unappropriated fund balance to the Board of Elections with a budget amendment that says funds appropriated under this amendment may be used solely for the establishment and operation of an additional early voting site approved by the County Board of Elections. Is that clear to everybody?
It is to me.
That's not moving it from unassigned fund balance to assigned. It's moving from unassigned to the Board of Elections.
It's moving it to the Board of Elections, but the funds appropriated under this amendment may be used solely for the establishment and operation of an additional early voting site approved by the County Board of Elections. So tonight, you would be voting to move that money. And if it wasn't spent in the future because they didn't approve that fourth site, then that would come back and would go back revert back to the county budget at some point.
Thank you, County Attorney and Ms. Baird. Now, at this point, Commissioner Gooch, do you want to make that motion that,
I'd like to refer to Commissioner Cozart if he wants to amend his original motion.
I think Commissioner Gooch, if we go back, you started the motion.
I offered a
Griffin started.
substitute.
Okay,
It was not second.
okay. You want to offer that substitute again in the way that County Attorney Wren said?
Would you state that again, Attorney?
So the
In
motion
other
would
words,
be,
I want to amend my motion to what he said.
the motion would be to move money from the unappropriated fund balance to the Board of Elections with the following budget amendment. Funds appropriated under this amendment may be used solely for the establishment and operation of an additional early voting site approved by the County Board of Elections.
What he said.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gooch. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second by Commissioner Griffin. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
This is a motion to amend.
To amend, correct. A motion to amend.
I call for the question.
Okay. All those in favor of the amended motion,
I think let's vote in favor of amending the motion.
vote in favor of amending the motion. Vote signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carried. Okay?
Thank you very much, and I'll be in touch with Drew.
No, not off the hook yet, Kenny.
Yep.
Not off the hook.
Commissioner May, go ahead.
Now, we've approved it, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, funding.
The funding, only the funding,
Not only the funding.
that is correct.
I'd like to know more about this copy machine.
Is that, do we want to do that tonight, Commissioner May?
Yeah, I do want to do that tonight because I got approached at one of these meetings and I got approached and railed pretty good about it. So I do want to do it. No need to leave. It's at your voting site. You care about your voting site, stay. We're talking about a copy machine for Board of Elections.
Commissioner May, ask your question.
What's the need for the copy machine?
We only have one copy machine, and during our last election, the copy machine broke, and we did not have a way to produce our poll books for Election Day. This was on a Saturday. We tried to buy toner from a vendor, tried to get it. They didn't have any except ordering, so we could not do anything there. It continuously jams, so when you try to use it, it will jam. Our poll books for early voting are many thousands of pages, so we have to produce 3, and in this case, if we go forward with 4, they're about 8,000 pages that have to be printed. And we have, that pretty much ties up our copier. So we're also trying to produce our training materials. We have to wait on the poll books to be done, and in this case, had no means to do it. So the only thing that I could do was to set up printers throughout the office, and each staff member print a couple of pages at a time just to get our poll books out and for our chief judges to have elections.
Okay, and so, County Manager, based upon our printer contracts that we have, is there any, what is an obstacle to support this other than cost?
So we did do a fairly exhaustive review of the use, the type of printer they have, the maintenance logs and calls that were put in. It did not appear, they have one of the biggest, fastest printers that we have at the county, and we have others that can be used as sort of reserve printers. Obviously, with a little advance notice, that can be done. So Our assessment was that they have sufficient printing capacity for their needs and that other backup printers and additional printers are available for their use.
So if they ran into the situation again, there would be a means for Ms. Burnett to contact your office in an emergency situation, and we could get them the resources they needed within with expeditiously.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner May. Thank you, Ms. Burnett. I think that brings this matter to a close.
Thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Guild. Right, moving right along. The next item is the first reading of revised franchise ordinance granting the exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise to Waste Industries LLC doing business as GFL Environmental. Mr. Jason Falls, please take the podium.
Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, the purpose of this item is to conduct the first reading of the attached revised solid waste collection franchise ordinance, which will grant an exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise together with a voluntary recycling option in the unincorporated areas of Granville County to GFL. Pursuant to General Statute 153A-46, no ordinance making a grant of a franchise may finally be adopted till it has been passed at 2 successive regular meetings of the Board of County Commissioners. Approval of this item constitutes the first of the 2 required readings for the revised ordinance. The second reading and final adoption of the revised franchise ordinance, together with the final award of the franchise, will be placed on the agenda for the August 3rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Quick background of this. The county's existing exclusive residential franchise for collection and disposal of solid waste and recycling option in the unincorporated areas of the county will expire on December 31st, 2026. A county staff issued and public advertised RFP SWF 2026 on February 2nd, 2026. A mandatory pre-bid meeting was held on March 2nd, 2026. Following the pre-bid conference, county staff issued 2 addenda in response to questions submitted by prospective bidders. Proposals were received and publicly opened on April 2nd, 2026 in the county manager's office. At its May 18th, 2026 regular meeting, the board reviewed the proposals received in response to RFP SWF 2026 and identified GFL as the vendor to which it intends to grant the exclusive residential service franchise. At the June 1st, 2026 regular meeting, the board took the following actions. 1, confirmed and ratified that the board's actions at the May 18th, 2026 regular meeting constituted an expression of intent to award the residential solid waste collection franchise to GFL and did not constitute the grant of a franchise or the award of a contract. And 2, directed the county attorney staff to prepare a contract and franchise ordinance granting an exclusive residential service franchise for the collection and disposal of solid waste and the voluntary recycling option in the unincorporated areas of Granville County to GFL, consistent with the terms and conditions the RFP noted. 3, also directed the staff to bring the franchise ordinance before the Board of County Commissioners at 2 regular successive meetings, consistent with the 2 reading requirement, General Statute 153A-46. The first reading of June 15th, regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Final adoption, second reading, July 6th, 2026 regular meeting. In accordance with that direction, the county attorney and county staff prepared a solid waste ordinance for presentation to the board at its June 15th, 2026 regular meeting. However, in finalizing the ordinance for that meeting, county staff and the county attorney determined that ordinance required revision to clarify that the exclusive franchise extends only to the collection of residential municipal solid waste and recyclable materials and does not include and does not grant to GFL an exclusive franchise for the collection according to individual agreements of commercial municipal solid waste and recyclable materials, or the special collection from residential and commercial units of bulky waste and construction demolition waste according to individual agreements. As a result, the ordinance presented to the board for first reading as June 15th meeting has now been revised. The attached revised solid waste collection franchise ordinance is now presented to the board for its first reading, with the second reading and final adoption to follow at the board's August 3rd, 2026 regular meeting. This is a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. 1, approve the first reading of the attached revised solid waste collection franchise ordinance, granting GFL an exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise together with the recycling option in the unincorporated areas of the county to GFL, with the franchise term commencing January 1st, 2027 and expiring December 31st, 2031. 2, confirm that the second reading and the final adoption of the revised franchise ordinance and the final award of the franchise be placed on the agenda of the August 3rd, 2026 regular meeting, consistent with the 2 reading requirement of General Statute 158-46. 3rd, authorize the county manager to execute the contract with GFL upon adoption of the revised franchise ordinance at the second reading and finalization and approval to form the contract by the county attorney. So I'm happy to answer all that. Any questions from the board tonight?
Do we have any questions for Jason on this matter? One of our commissioners has stepped out for just a minute, so we'll wait for him to come back in. Or can we go ahead? Okay, we'll go ahead and make a vote. Do we have a motion to approve the first reading of the attached revised solid waste collection franchise ordinance, granting GFL an exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise together with a voluntary recycling option in the unincorporated areas of Granville County to GFL, with a franchise term commencing January the 1st, 2027 and expiring December 31st, 2031, consistent with the terms and conditions of RFP number SWF-2026 and the selected vendor's proposal.
I make that motion, sir.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin and a second by Commissioner Cozart. Yes, sir. Yes.
Right.
Yes. So we need to make the motion for the second reading.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Say this. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that the board approve the first reading of the revised solid waste collection franchise ordinance, granting an exclusive residential solid waste collection franchise and voluntary recycling option to Waste Industries, LLC, doing business as GFL Environmental for the unincorporated areas of Granville County. Schedule the second reading and final adoption for the board's August 3rd, 2026 regular meeting pursuant to GS 153A-46, and authorize the county manager to execute the franchise agreement following final adoption of the ordinance and approval as to form by the county attorney.
And that contract agreement will be in the next agenda for you, everyone's review.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Griffin. We have a second by Commissioner Cozart. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, I think we have another reading.
Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, the second agenda item is the solid waste convenience site management and franchise agreement. This will be the first reading of the franchise ordinance granting franchise to Waste Industries GFL Environmental. The purpose of this item is to conduct the first reading of the attached solid waste convenience site management and operation franchise ordinance, which will grant an exclusive right and franchise for the operation and management of the county's solid waste convenience center sites in Granville County to GFL. Again, similar pursuant to General Statute 153A-46, no ordinance making a grant of a franchise may be finally adopted until it's been passed at 2 successive regular meetings of the Board of Commissioners. Approval of this item constitute the first of the 2 required readings, consistent with the direction the board provided at its June 15th regular meeting. The second reading and final adoption of the franchise ordinance, together with the final award of the franchise, will be placed on the agenda for the August 3rd regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Background, the county's existing contract for convenience site operation will expire on December 31st, 2026. County staff issued and publicly advertised an RFP on February 2nd, 2026, seeking proposals for site management services for the county's convenience centers. Mandatory pre-bid was held on March the 2nd. Proposals were received and publicly opened on April 2nd, 2026. At the June 15th regular meeting of the board reviewed the proposals received in response to RFP SWCS-2026 and identified GFL as the vendor which intends to grant the exclusive franchise and contract for the operation and management of the county's convenience center sites. At its June 15th, 2026, the board took the following actions. 1, directed the county attorney and county staff to prepare a contract and franchise ordinance granting an exclusive right and franchise for the operation and management of the county's solid waste centers to GFL, consistent with the terms and conditions of the RFP and the selected vendor's proposal. 2, directed staff to bring the franchise ordinance before the board for consideration at 2 regular meetings, consistent with the 2 reading requirements of General Statute 153A-46. First reading July 6, 26, regular meeting, Board of County Commissioners. Final adoption, second reading August 3rd, 2026, the regular meeting. In accordance with that direction, the county attorney and county staff were prepared to attach solid waste site management and operation franchise ordinance, which is now presented to the board for its first reading. Again, the initial term of this contract and franchise will be for 5 years, beginning January 1st, 2027, ending December 31st, 2031, with 2 possible additional 1-year extensions, not exceeding 7 years. It is my recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to 1, approve the first reading of the attached solid waste convenience site management and operation franchise ordinance, granting an exclusive right and franchise to the operation and management of the county's solid waste convenience center sites to GFL, with the franchise beginning January 1st, 2027, expiring December 31st, 2031. 2, confirm that the second reading and final adoption of the franchise ordinance and the final award of the franchise will be placed on the agenda for the August 3rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. And 3, to authorize the county to execute the contract with GFL upon final adoption of the franchise ordinance, the second reading and finalization of the contract by the county attorney. That is all for me. And any questions?
Do we have any questions for Mr. Falls? Do we have a motion? We have a motion by Commissioner Karen. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Yeah, we know. Thank you. We have a second by Commissioner May. Hearing any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, vote by the voting side, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise. All ayes have it, motion carries. I think you have one more.
Yes, sir.
Jason?
Thank you again. Last item, the purpose of this item, this is the solid waste ordinance definitions update and conforming amendments to Chapter 38. The purpose of this item is to present for informational purpose ordinance amending section 38-102 and related provisions of chapter 38 of the Granville County Code of Ordinances to update and clarify definitions used throughout the county's solid waste regulations and to make limiting conforming amendments to ensure consistency through chapter 38. The proposed amendments were intended to align the county's ordinance with current provisions of Article 9, Chapter 130A of the North Carolina General Statutes and Title 15A, Subchapter 13B of the North Carolina Administrative Code, reducing the risk of conflict or ambiguity between county and state law, and to ensure that the ordinance remains consistent with future changes to applicable state statutes and administrative rules. No action is requested at this meeting for this line item. Proposed ordinance amendment is being presented for discussion and review and is anticipated to be presented to the board for consideration and possible adoption to the August 3rd regular meeting with an effective date of January 1st, 2027. Part of the county's review of the solid waste regulations in connection with the preparation of the revised solid waste collection franchise ordinance and convenience site franchise ordinance, the county staff and the county attorney reviewed the existing definitions set forth in section 38-102 of the county code and their use throughout chapter 38. That review determined that many of the existing definitions were adopted years ago, while generally consistent with current law, did not always reflect the terminology, definitions, regulatory framework, or the agency structure used in North Carolina solid waste statutes and administrative rules. In addition, several definitions duplicated, supplemented, varied from definitions now established in state law. The proposed amendment updates by incorporating current statutory and regulatory definitions where appropriate, while containing certain locally defined terms for the administration of the county's solid waste program. The amendment also provides that future amendments to applicable state statutes and administrative rules will be incorporated into the ordinance unless otherwise provided by ordinance, includes a savings provision and turn into and void unintended gaps should a reference state definition later be repealed or removed. In addition to the revisions to 38-102, the proposed ordinance includes several limited conforming amendments to the other provisions of Chapter 38 to ensure that terminology through the ordinance remains consistent with the updated definition section in current state law. The revisions are administrative and clarifying in nature and not intended to alter the county's substantial solid waste regulatory program, disposal requirements, convenience site operations, franchise structure, enforcement authority. The proposed amendments are intended to become effective January 1st, 2027. Recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners, please receive the proposed amendments to Chapter 38 for information and discussion purposes. 2, provide any comments or direction to county staff and the county attorney regarding the proposed revisions. 3rd, direct staff to place the proposed ordinance amendment on the agenda for the August 3rd, 2026 meeting. And lastly, provide that the ordinance amendment, if adopted, shall become effective January 1st, 2027.
Mr. Chairman,
Do we have a motion?
I move that this matter be brought back to the board for consideration at its August 3rd, 2026 regular meeting.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Commissioner Griffin, a second by Commissioner Cozart. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, and also want to thank the legal team for all their work involved in this as well.
And
spent a lot of time in doing this.
Same goes to, from the Board of Commissioners. We appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I know it's late, Mr. Chair, but I got a comment regarding all this, if I may.
When you say all this, are we talking about the?
Yeah, I'm talking.
Oh, okay, just.
I'm not talking about all that.
Okay,
I'm just talking about all this.
Just the
Yeah.
solid waste.
Commissioner Groves had mentioned to me earlier, maybe, and with the county manager, maybe an additional oversight role of environmental affairs in regards to, would you like to elaborate on that, Commissioner Gooch, regards to environmental affairs and the convenience centers, how they may be provide us some help?
Yes.
Before you start, would you like Jason to come back to the podium, Commissioner Gooch?
Yeah,
Jason, would you step back down, please? You thought you were done.
Yeah, sorry about that. Currently, the convenience sites and the administration of the contract and inspection of those sites falls under the solid waste. And I was thinking that if we could move the inspection of the sites and such to the Environmental Affairs Committee, and they could field the complaints and discuss the complaints and deal with any complaints coming from the convenience sites and do this and inspect the sites from time to time, that it would be a more efficient use of the Environmental Affairs Committee.
And if I understood it correctly, Commissioner Gooch, for our conversation, it's like, you're not looking for them to be direct oversight. You're just looking them to be able to, through the process of going out to the sites and occasionally reviewing them as a citizenry board and report back to Jason any things that they find that they might find. So I'm seeing the county attorney's grin. I'd like to hear his opinion.
I'd be concerned about giving them a direct role in management of those sites. I think it's one thing for Jason to bring up with them from time to time complaints received, but actually having them go out and do operational work that could arguably make them subject to workers' compensation and other things would give me some concern. I think this is a type of thing that if you all want to operationalize it, then you can put signage at the convenience sites and invite any citizen, including certainly nothing to stop the Environmental Affairs Committee from going out and looking at that and calling in a complaint. But I'd make it available to a complaint hotline to any citizen, and certainly have Jason take that back to the EAB at meetings, but try to not give them a formalized operational role.
Well, one of the things I was thinking about was we're going to be putting up signs with a number for them to call for complaints. And I'm sure it'll be some type of recording, and they'll record their complaint. And I felt like this would be a good use of the Environmental Affairs Committee to go over those complaints and compile them and make a recommendation.
Well, I think as much, and again, I don't want to interject myself too much in this discussion since it's a commissioner issue, but it's also a contract issue. And my concern is as much concern as has been about this contract, I think it needs to be a direct staff role in policing that contract. If Jason takes these things to the EAB for their input and viewpoint, that's fine. But we don't need to let this contract get away from us by relegating it to a volunteer board. I think Jason needs to take the point on that and ask for advice and consent where he needs it, but we should look at clear contract terms and hold GFL accountable under the terms of the contract.
Maybe would this be reasonable, an enhanced role for the Environmental Affairs Board to work more closely in regards to, with you at your direction?
They've reviewed the RFPs in the past and have had discussions on site and landfill issues in the past. So.
Would you be willing, Jason, to work with that board?
Yeah.
Once a quarter, whatever is worked out, once a month, to meet with that board to go over some of the issues?
And it's focused on convenience sites.
Right. That's the thing I hear.
That's really what we're asking.
My direct phone number, as well as GFL's direct phone numbers, located at all the convenience sites in front of the boxes. Those signs will be a little bit larger in the future, but they've been posted for 3 weeks now. My direct number for any complaints, as well as GFL's number.
That's fine. It was just a point of discussion, so thank you, Jason, and I'm good with that. Thank you, County Attorney, for your recommendations.
And I'm good with it too. I just, just making a suggestion for us to discuss.
Thank you, Commissioner Gooch. Great, just great idea. Jason, you're dismissed. You better leave quickly. What are we at now? We are at appointments. Reappointments to the Kerr-Tar Workforce Development Board. Lou Grillo, Workforce Development Director of the Kerr-Tar Regional Council of Government, recommends the appointment of Charlotte Duncan, Granville County Economic Development Director, to a 2-year term in the required position of Economic Development Representative. Do we want to do these separate altogether? Just do them all together? Okay. Mr. Grillo also recommends the appointment of Hal Munsell and Norman Terrace Wilson to the Kerr-Tar Workforce Development Board for 2-year terms. Each appointee fulfills a federally required sector role under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA, and has demonstrated consistent attendance and active involvement in guiding the direction of the board. The letter is attached for the board's consideration. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we appoint Ms. Duncan.
And we have 2 more now. We have Mr. Wilson and also Mr. Munsell.
The slate.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner May and a second by Commissioner Cozart. Is any, all those in favor, is any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. Congratulations, Ms. Duncan. I see you up there. All right, appointments to the Granville County Fire Commission, Southern Region Citizen at-large seat is vacant. The 2 members of the Granville County Fire Commission whose term expire in July 2026 and who are eligible for reappointment are Leroy S. Anderson Jr., Northern Region Citizen at Large, Matt Norwood, Central Region, SME Fire and Emergency Services.
Mr. Chairman, if I'm in order, I'll make a recommendation for both to be reappointed, Leroy Anderson and Matt Norwood, if I'm in order.
Okay. We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cozart, a second by Commissioner Griffith. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Ayes have it, motion carries. All right. I think we are at the county manager's report.
I have 2 quick things. I wanted to also observe 250th anniversary of our Independence Day. I was thinking about that a little bit, and 250 years is a lot of generations who did a lot of hard things along the way to preserve that independence, and it's interesting to think about what it's incumbent on us to do to preserve that for future generations. So just leave that there. Also want to notice, has already been mentioned once or twice tonight, that we are starting our new fiscal year, right? Local government works on the July to June fiscal year. We got our budget passed a few weeks ago, and here we go into fiscal 26-27. And finally, just I've been thinking about Commissioner Jay a lot, and grateful for the large number of family and friends and even county staff who are helping support the family, and hoping to get him back here soon. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, County Manager. County Attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have several matters for executive session. I think we'll get to those later. Thanks.
Thank you. President, are there any other matters that need to be brought before the board tonight? Presentation by county board members. Commissioner Mark Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of quick things. Again, I go along with what Drew said. 250 years in our country is an amazing feat. I know I won't be around for the next 250, but I know our country is slated for great things. And as long as we all continue to work together in unison and as one, we'll continue to do great things and make our country even better. And last but not least, in any kind of way, is my prayers go out to Chairman Jay and his family. I've been down that road that he's going on, and it's a difficult one, and there are many obstacles in front of him that he's having to go through. And I pray for him every day, and I will continue to pray for him and hope for his speedy recovery. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Griffin. Commissioner Cozart.
Couple of things. So impressed with the Leadership Council this evening. Young people really presented themselves well. Very proud of them. I'm so thankful to the board for approving the proclamation, celebrating my family, and I'm just thankful for all we've been able to do in these 250 years. The portion that good Lord has given us to be able to live in this county and be blessed thereof. And I had a chance to visit with Commissioner Jay, and I tell you, he has Granville County on his heart. He has this work on his heart, and have to try to push him back from it so he don't get too tied up. But we pray his continued strength. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Cozart. Commissioner May.
Well, as expected, I probably got a little more than what I should talk about. I didn't realize that, regretfully, the meeting went way too long tonight, but I'm still going to say them. So I am absolutely just proud to be an American. In 250 years, the greatest, most exceptional nation in the world. And it's, I think people would have a different perspective depending on the level of sacrifice that one makes for their nation. And not that you have to do anything special, but travel to foreign countries, and I have, and see what it's like in other places in the world, and I have, and grab a gun and stand a post, and I have, and you understand the greatness of this nation. So despite all the divisiveness and all the rhetoric that you hear from this side or that side, we are only greater when we are one, and we are one America. And so I'm thankful for that. Falls Lake study, went to the Falls Lake study for elected officials. That was quite fascinating. I want to focus on something real quick in my comments here, though, and that is they really stress strong cities. And what that means is that as our cities grow, they need to grow from the city out, not from the county in. No leapfrogging, no getting in the middle. You grow from the city and you bring your infrastructure with you out into the county. And so we need to really focus on that as we work with our planning departments, and that's some of the recommendations that's going to be coming from the Falls Lake area study. The Upper Neuse River Basin Association is still working on new Falls Lake rules with DEQ and DWR. It's paramount that we have the rules approved, that they are realistic, and they not place a further financial burden on Saguasa. I want to thank Attorney Wren for his efforts in that organization. They are monumental, and believe me, they have saved us and surrounding counties millions of dollars that we would have to support rules that were unattainable. The Kerr-Tar RPO, our DOT folks, for Tar River North and Granville County, we've made significant progress on our white paper, which included meetings with the RPO and with Campo. And so we hope to present the material to the legislature next month. The goal is to find remedies that will allow more DOT funding to come to rural counties, and we are gaining support, and we had a very good meeting. So I look forward to your continued support on that. Myself and Commissioner Gooch and and Griffin, we went to the Butner convenience site, and we met out there with GFL. I believe that, and Jason was present, I think we've done a really good job of placing forth our expectations of what's expected, and they're much greater than what that have been in the past. and I wanted to make sure that we follow through with that on the board and discuss with the county manager some additional things regarding waste management in the near future. I'm looking forward to further planning steps with Holly. I know that's going on. I want to thank Ms. Weichel and Mr. Phillips for their effort they're making on that. Also, county manager, county attorney, I know I spoke with you both about this, but I'm really looking forward to us to taking care of all the things we need to take care of regards to Granville County Public Schools and the paperwork, and let's get all that matters resolved as quickly as possible so that we can move forward with that. The flock cameras, that's going to be a great discussion. I look forward to that discussion. I know a recent Supreme Court decision. It may or may not, may indirectly affect the use, and that I think it's our citizens have a voice on that. I think it's very important. I'm glad the sheriffs can be meeting and with the community on that, because I think there is a reason why people move to the county and not stay in a municipality, and some of that is because they like their privacy, and so I think we need to keep that into consideration. I'm strong about supporting law enforcement. It's what I did in my career, but I'm also respectful and in tune with what the citizenry expects when it comes to their privacy, particularly those that wish to live in a county that's 532 square miles and mostly rural. And again, my heart goes out to Commissioner Jay, and I know that we're all praying for him, and we're just not saying that. We're all sincere about it. And I can't go without saying this. The Board of Elections needs to do the Board of Elections work. And that's their task. It's not the county commissioner's task to do the Board of Elections work. Whether we agree or disagree, we've done a really good job on this board of staying out of other boards' functions and purpose. And I think it's really important, particularly when we're talking about something so significant that deals with voting itself, that we allow the process to work as it's designed. And again, doesn't mean I'm always going to agree and accept what happens or doesn't happen. What it does do is I am respecting the process, and as I would want people to respect the processes that occur on our board. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner May. Commissioner Karen?
Sure, I want to appreciate each and every one of you for excusing me to not vote on this year's budget. This first budget I've missed in my tenure on this board, so disappointing way to go out. But going back to my childhood home, got to go to my 40th high school reunion, and I've lived in Granville County more than half of my life. This is my home. That's where I grew up, but this is where I live. And it drug my daughter up. We got back home about the time you wrapped up this meeting. It was 14 hours whipping it in the car. So I appreciate y'all giving me the latitude to go back for that celebration of life for my sister-in-law. But anyways, 250th, amazing, right? Great country we live in. Every opportunity is afforded everyone here, and it's no doubt that people want to, cut the line, so to speak, to get here. But it's unfortunate that some folks have said, welcome, welcome, cut the line. And it's disappointing. I think the nation of immigrants and the 250 years that we've celebrated here was because of the process, and that you go through the process. You don't usurp the process. Tonight, unfortunately, we swerved into another board's duty because they had a 3-2 vote. And the person who was on the 2 made a motion to go ahead and open up the whole thing, start it all over, ask for more money, go back to January or February when we started the budget process. That's disappointing that when we have it and it's known. I'm so thankful that the school board, one of them didn't have the bright idea to say, well, I lost the closure vote. I'm going to go to the County Board of Commissioners and demand the revote. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And on that front, I really would like to move forward on putting process in place and letting some contracts, getting budgets squared away for taking those buildings down and resurrecting them to live again, whether it be as a taxable entity or a new government facility.
think that trying to rebreathe life into what has used its useful purpose in this place. It's sticks and bricks. Mow it down, start over, build it new. Whole entire cities, entire civilizations have done that. And it's time for those to, thanks for the memories, let's move on. Just like the playground equipment at the Gap. But I look forward to this new fiscal year. And again, I think that a little bit disappointed that we're this early in the game jumping back into the budget process. But it is what it is. And I don't mean to die on a sword about a 3-2 vote, but it was a 3-2 vote to do something. And the person, one of the people who lost, got to like kickstart the whole thing over. So good stuff.
Thank you, Commissioner Karen. Commissioner Gooch.
Thank you. I spoke with Commissioner Jay this afternoon on the phone, and hopefully he'll be back in Granville County tomorrow. Hopefully, if he has a good night and everything goes well, he'll be at Brentwood tomorrow. And that way he'll be close by where we can all go visit him. And I'm really concerned about Commissioner Jay, and I pray for him. I'm not the best person in the world. I hope my prayers help. Hope they don't hurt. But I really am concerned about Commissioner Jay, and you know, my thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. As Commissioner Cozart mentioned, the Leadership Council, I was very impressed with those young people. And the youth are our future, and you know, I think our future's in good hands. And I was really impressed with those, with the young people, and thankful for them. On the 250th, well, 250th anniversary of our nation, I'm 71 years old. I was 21 when at the 200, so I've lived through the 200 celebration and the 250. I don't think I'm gonna make the 300, okay? But yeah, the thing that I think of real often about our country is the opportunity that we have here. And when you see people come from other nations here and they seize the opportunity and they look at this as the land of opportunity, and they build successful businesses and they are successful people here, it makes you think, you know, have we become complacent? Have we become entitled? And therefore, we're not looking at this as the land of opportunity as people from outside this country see it. And it concerns me. It concerns me about the future of our country. And look, I know I asked some tough questions to the lady from the Board of Education. Board of Elections, I'm sorry. But we're getting accused of being able to do, we're getting told that we can do things that we can't do. We're being accused of being responsible for things that we're not responsible for with them. And I was trying to get some clarity on what they were doing and where they were at and what was going on. And I know I'm not the brightest bulb in the hallway, but doggone, I'm more confused now than I was when we started. And if I'm confused, I understand why the citizens are confused about what's going on there. You have people who have opinions about what's going on, but when you talk to them or you hear them talk, you find out that their opinions are not based in what's probably going on there, because I'm not sure anybody knows. And yeah, I want to make sure they have the funds that needed if they're going to get a full site. And I want to stay out of their business and let them do what they're going to do, however they're going to do it. You know, if they're not happy with a vote, they got to go back and take it 10 times. And, you know, that's that board's decision, not ours. And I'll get down off my soapbox because it's past bedtime.
I appreciate the spirited discussion we had with Ms. Burnett and Ms. Gilbert and this board. And I think thanks to Ms. Baird up there and for county attorney to work something out that we could vote on it tonight. I'd like to thank this board for supporting me in this temporary role. So, do what?
Great job.
Well, thank you.
Good job, Rob.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate the support. And I'll say this, I've got 8 generations from this place, Granville County, on both sides. And they're buried in Stem, Enon, Berea, Mount Zion, Elmwood, about everywhere we got them. And I love this county, and I mean that. It means a lot to me. That's all I got for tonight. We're gonna have a short 3-minute bio break, and then we're gonna come back for closed session.
We're gonna hit any other matters?
Sir?
Are we gonna hit any other matters?
You already asked.
Oh. No, this is the next one up.
Any other matters?
I have another matter.
Okay.
You wanna wait till after the bio break?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, can we do it in closed
Oh,
session?
no, I just wanna make sure that, we can, but I mean, it's open public meeting, right? And it's other matters. Yes?
Okay, go right ahead. Yes, sir. I'm
So,
sorry.
I think it's incumbent upon us as elected officials, when we put county tax dollars into an event and another local elected official, you want to wait?
I do. I think we can bring this up in a closed session. Is that okay? County Attorney? Okay.
I'm gonna ask for a public admonishment of a local official who violated campaign finance law by using a paid-for event to grandstand and bring a unelected official to speak at with a microphone. It is a violation of campaign finance, and we've got tax dollars invested in that event as a county. Not as much as the municipalities, I don't believe, but it's public monies. And that elected official from Creedmoor took it upon himself to use that platform in an inappropriate fashion. And it's got some people very upset, including me.
And
I'd like to add to that because he was so bold as to post on Facebook, worked in an on-stage intro for Paul Behringer. Posted that on Facebook. Proud of it. Working for Creedmoor.
I mean, we may be beholden to the guy for some money later, but this is not the way it's supposed to work. And I think that from our position, my position is that when you have some kind of a public admonishment to this elected official, that's not the way things are supposed to work.
I believe it's more serious than that because that's a serious violation of campaign laws. And if by us funding that site, we helping fund that event and him hijacking it that way, it puts us, I believe it puts us complicit in the actions taken.
Commissioner,
And
I'm sorry, do you want to weigh in on
we
this?
financially supported it, so therefore we actually supported his action if we don't take any action.
Commissioner Gooch, I'm gonna ask the county attorney to
Yes, sir.
give us his opinion.
I've only heard a little bit about this today through another source. And I'll repeat what I understand, and you all tell me if I'm off base. My understanding is that a candidate for United States Congress was invited to speak to the crowd at the fireworks display at Lake Holt. Is that accurate? And the same opportunity wasn't offered to any other candidates. Is that accurate? Did the speech involve a request for votes or support during the election?
be looked into?
I think it's a matter that needs to be looked into, and I think this board, my understanding is that one commissioner from the city of Creedmoor is the one who allowed that to happen. I'm not aware that anyone else from any other jurisdiction was involved in that. Is that accurate to everyone's knowledge?
That is accurate as far as I can tell.
I think the key thing for tonight, because I do think this crosses a line, and the use of local government funds for political activity can raise all sorts of problems, including criminal law violations. And I think this board, to the extent it funds that event, needs to be clear that it did not encourage or invite political participation by a candidate for Congress at that event. Beyond that, I'd like to reserve any further comments or analysis to such time as I have all the facts. But I do think it's very important to make clear that this board did not engage in inviting a political candidate to use a local government funded event for a campaign speech. And that's not to say that it was a campaign speech, because I haven't heard those details, but I do think that we need to go ahead and get that on the record, given the issues that are being reported to me. And I know other governments have concerns about this as well.
County Attorney, are we able to ask to have those funds clawed back? Or can we, in the future, decide not to fund that due to the fact that it was used as a political statement, or call it what you want to?
You can certainly choose not to fund the event in the future. My concern, again, I don't know that much about it at this point. My concern is that you have a company that contracted to put on a fireworks display. So far as I know, they had nothing to do with what was said, and they came, they spent their time, they launched their fireworks. I don't know that it's right to penalize them by not paying either. That would seem to be outside of the scope of the way to address this. But the key thing is I would like to review this matter before the money is actually spent, if it hasn't been spent. And I would like to make clear that this board did not invite any political commentary or political speeches or activism at that event. Is that accurate? That no one on this board was involved in that?
No, none whatsoever.
I didn't even go. I didn't know what happened.
Okay. Well, I think just to be clear that we didn't, that this board did not do that is, and to allow us to review the matter before funds are sent. My understanding is Creedmoor may be acting as the agent for these funds. Is that accurate? Do you know? And so before funds are sent to Creedmoor, if they're the ones who contracted, and they're the ones who at least one of their commissioners is the ones who control the statement from the stage, it seems to be appropriate to withhold those funds until we know what happened.
And that's what I was speaking of, is withholding the funds until we knew more about it from
Creedmoor, not from the company.
Not
right?
from the company, that's
Right.
correct.
And I don't even know how that was contracted at this point. I've seen it in the past, and I don't know, but Drew's saying, I think that the Creedmoor contracted it, and we were reimbursing Creedmoor.
And our check has not been sent to them yet.
Is the board good with this?
I think it definitely needs further investigation.
Okay,
I appreciate
that's
that.
that's what he's asking. So yes.
So if you all would just, I think it would be helpful just to note on the record that this board, no one from this board invited that political speech, and asking the county manager and I to look into what happened so we know whether the funds should be sent to Creedmoor or not.
That is
Come back to
correct.
this board with a recommendation.
Would you like that in a motion? Who would like, Tim?
Sure, I'll offer a motion that we authorize our county attorney to investigate the matter at the 4th of July celebration and withhold funding if necessary.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Karen, a second by Commissioner Gooch.
And that's
Any-
confirming that, also
that
putting
no
on the record that no one from this board encouraged that.
That's correct.
No. Say no, but do roll call, please, on that.
District 2, Commissioner Williford, did you have anything to do with
I didn't, no, I did not.
Commissioner 3, Commissioner Griffin?
No, ma'am, I did not.
District 4, Commissioner Cozart?
No, just heard about it tonight.
District 5, Commissioner May?
I did not.
District 6, Commissioner Karen.
No, ma'am.
District 7, Commissioner Gooch.
No, ma'am, I was not part of it.
Okay, we've done the roll call now. Let's go back to the motion made by Commissioner Karen and seconded by Commissioner Gooch. Any other discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor vote by signing aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, sign. Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
3 minutes. Okay, at this point, do we have any other matters that come before this board?
I make a motion, we go, we
Bio
take a
break, 3 minutes, 3
3
minutes.
minutes
We got a
and back
gentleman
in
who's been waiting
and
there all
close
night. Bio break.